हर टीम ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में ये बिलीव करके आती है कि वो चैंपियन बन सकती है, लेकिन टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग जो उस वक्त अपने ओरिजिनल बैनर टीम हिंद के नाम से खेल रही थी, उनकी कहानी थोड़ी अलग थी। तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के स्टेज पर कदम रखने से काफी पहले, पहला मैच शुरू होने से पहले, पहला पॉइंट मिलने से पहले उन्होंने अपना एंडिंग इमेजिन कर लिया था। उनके लिए ट्रॉफी पहले ही उनकी थी। ये ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था, ये बिलीव था। सालों तक साथ खेलने का बिलीव, हर सेटबैक से वापस उठने का बिलीव और नॉकआउट स्टेज क्रॉस करके इंडिया की बेस्ट टीम के सामने खड़े होने का बिलीव। अब सिर्फ एक सवाल बाकी था, क्या वो बिलीव रियलिटी बन सकता था?
जो अपना FFMIC 2026 था अपना स्प्रिंग, उसमें हमने मेनली फोकस किया था अपनी 4v4 फाइट्स में। हमने जितना ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग कर सकते थे हमने उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग किया, अपने कोऑर्डिनेशन पे काम किया। तो फिर ऐसा हो गया था कि फिर एक टाइम पे हम कोई भी टीम को 4v4 इजिली मार दे रहे थे। उसी से फिर हमको कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया था कि 4v4 फाइट अपनी बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग है, बस जोन्स और बाकी सब चीज पे अपने को ध्यान देना है, बाकी फाइट्स तो हम निकाल ही लेंगे।
लेकिन चैंपियनशिप डिसाइड होने से पहले एक और हर्डल बाकी था, पॉइंट रश। 6 मैचेस, एक दिन, और वही डिसाइड करता था कि चैंपियनशिप डे पर हर टीम कितने हेड स्टार्ट पॉइंट्स के साथ शुरुआत करेगी। यहाँ ट्रॉफी नहीं मिलनी थी, सिर्फ मोमेंटम, और टीम हिंद ने इसी चीज को टारगेट बनाया। उन्होंने लॉबी डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश नहीं की, हर गेम में अननेसेसरी फाइट्स नहीं ली, जहां अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली वहां कैपिटलाइज किया। और जब मैच 5 आया, टीम हिंद ने पूरे पॉइंट रश का अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दिया।
एक और ग्रेनेड यहाँ पर से को खेला जाएगा, बिल्कुल अकेले, नीचे 3 खिलाड़ी अकेले डैश करेंगे, एंड देयर कम्स द टीम हिंद विद द बोया बोया बोया।
19 एलिमिनेशन के साथ बूया, एक स्टेटमेंट गेम। दिन के एंड तक टीम हिंद ओवरऑल 3rd प्लेस पर फिनिश हुई। रिवॉर्ड मिला 5 हेड स्टार्ट पॉइंट्स।
ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में तो हमारा स्टार्टिंग में टारगेट यही था कि हमको 3 से 4 गेम में चैंपियन रश ऑन करना है, बट ऐसा हुआ कि हमारे गेम्स बहुत ज्यादा एवरेज चले गए कुछ रीजंस की वजह से।
चैंपियन रश डे की शुरुआत हुई और शुरुआती 4 मैचेस में एक बात क्लियर हो गई, ये टूर्नामेंट किसी एक टीम का नहीं होने वाला था। हर गेम का हीरो अलग था। मैच 1 में फायर आइज गेमिंग ने पेस सेट किया। मैच 2 में गॉडलाइक ईस्पोर्ट्स ने लॉबी कंट्रोल कर ली। उसके बाद RNX ईस्पोर्ट्स ने बैक टू बैक बुयाज लेकर पूरा लीडर बोर्ड हिला दिया। हर मैच के बाद स्टैंडिंग्स बदल रही थी, हर फाइट टाइटल रेस को एक नई डायरेक्शन दे रही थी, और टीम हिंद वो क्वाइटली रेस के अंदर बनी रही। चैंपियन रश फॉर्मेट में कभी कभी सरवाइव करते रहना लीड करने से भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, क्योंकि जब बाकी टीम्स एक गेम में टॉप करती और अगले गेम में क्रैश हो जाती, वहीं टीम हिंद कभी पिक्चर से बाहर नहीं हुई, वो बस अपने मोमेंट का वेट कर रही थी।
फिर उसके बाद हमको अपना गेम प्लान चेंज करना पड़ा।
फिर हमारा बरमुदा मैप आया जिसमें हमको ज्यादा एलिमिनेशंस की नीड थी, तो हमने उसी के हिसाब से उस गेम को खेला और
5th और 6th गेम में बहुत ज्यादा एग्रेसिव गए, तो उससे अपने को बहुत ज्यादा फायदा हुआ।
4 मैचेस बीत चुके थे। टीम हिंद अब भी अपने ब्रेक थ्रू का इंतजार कर रही थी, और दूसरी तरफ गॉडलाइक ईस्पोर्ट्स धीरे धीरे चैंपियनशिप के सबसे बड़े कंटेंडर्स बन के उभर चुकी थी। हर पासिंग गेम के साथ प्रेशर बढ़ता जा रहा था। अब एक और एवरेज मैच का ऑप्शन ही नहीं था। इसी बीच आई एक रोटेशन केप टाउन से कोटाटुआ की तरफ, और वही हुआ जिसने टीम हिंद के टूर्नामेंट की डायरेक्शन ही बदल दी। सीधा सामने थे डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग। ये सिर्फ एक और स्क्वाड फाइट नहीं थी, आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग के लिए ये चैंपियनशिप रेस में बने रहने का मौका था, और टीम हिंद के लिए ये वो फाइट थी जो उनके पूरे टूर्नामेंट को या तो जिंदा रख सकती थी या वहीं खत्म कर सकती थी।
सामने की तरफ से टीम हिंद इसके ऊपर अटैक करती हुई इस समय पर लीड आगे बढ़ते हुए बुलविन को डाउन करने की कोशिश है। माफिया ही इज द लास्ट मैन स्टैंडिंग, बिकॉज़ आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग इज येट टू टच द 80 पॉइंट मार्क। क्या माफिया अपने खिलाड़ियों को गेम के अंदर इस मुकाबले में वापस ला पाएंगे? जी नहीं, 10वें पायदान पे आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग का खात्मा होता हुआ।
और उस मोमेंट के बाद पूरा मैप टीम हिंद के लिए खुल गया, और धीरे धीरे लॉबी सिर्फ 3 स्क्वाड्स तक सीमित हो गई। अब टीम हिंद सिर्फ रेस में नहीं थी, अब पूरी लॉबी को पता चल चुका था ये टीम चैंपियनशिप जीत भी सकती है।
हमको तो शुरू से ऐसे गेम की नीड थी चैंपियन बनने के लिए, क्योंकि एवरेज सा ही गेम हमारा जा रहा था शुरू से, या फिर आप फर्स्ट देख लो, सेकंड देख लो, थर्ड देख लो, पूरी टीम मतलब बूस्टअप हो जाए और चैंपियन की तरफ आगे बढ़े।
गुजरात, कैन यू फील द फायर?
मैच 5 ने टीम हिंद के चैंपियनशिप ड्रीम को दोबारा जिंदा कर दिया, लेकिन अगले 2 गेम्स उस ड्रीम को फिर से तोड़ने पर आ गए। मैच 6 8th प्लेस फिनिश।
बट वो सोलारा वाला मैच में हमने थोड़ी सी गलती की, कोऑर्डिनेशन में इशू आया, वो फाइट अपन हार गए।
हाँ, एक चीज जरूर हुई, टीम हिंद ने चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट कर लिया।
तो चैंपियन रश ऑन होने के बाद हमारी स्ट्रेटजी में हमने चेंज लाया था, क्योंकि उससे पहले हमने बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट्स में भी प्रैक्टिस की थी जब चैंपियन रश ऑन होने के बाद बुया करने की, तो फिर हम उसी स्ट्रेटजी के साथ आगे गए थे।
चैंपियन रश सिर्फ आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव चेंज नहीं करता, पूरी लॉबी का गेम प्लान बदल देता है। अब हर टीम को पता था टीम हिंद को बस एक और बुया चाहिए, सिर्फ एक, और चैंपियनशिप खत्म। प्रेशर सिर्फ टीम हिंद पर नहीं था, प्रेशर उन हर टीम पर था जो उन्हें उस एक बुया से रोकना चाहती थी।
फिर अपने को नेक्स्ट गेम में चांस मिला एंड हम सेम स्ट्रेटजी के साथ गए।
मैच 7 में गॉड लाइक के अगेंस्ट एक रिस्की पुश, और इस बार सब कुछ उल्टा पड़ गया।
हिंद वो होल्ड बैक नहीं करना चाह रहे, स्क्वाड को स्पॉट आउट करा, स्पॉट करते ही अंदर घुसे टीम गॉड लाइक, दे आर इन ट्रबल। यहाँ पर से मार्को को भी गिरा दिया जाएगा, केडी गॉर्डन बुलविन वो भी नॉकआउट होते हुए नजर आने वाले। साहिल जाट एक लौते खिलाड़ी, उनको भी करा बाहर।
टीम हिंद लॉबी की पहली एलिमिनेटेड स्क्वाड बन गई। जो मोमेंटम मैच 5 में बना था वो एक ही गेम में रुक सा गया।
तो मतलब हम 7th मैच में जब एलिमिनेट हुए तो मतलब सब वैसे ही साइड हो गए, फिर डिमोटिवेट टाइप के होने लगे। फिर जैसे ही हमने देखा कि 7th मैच में आरएनटी ने बुया करा, तो फिर मतलब सब एकदम ऐसे खुश हो गए और फिर एक दूसरे में मतलब चेयर अप करने लगे कि मतलब अब तो करना ही है, अब तो चैंपियन बनना ही है।
अब हर मिस हुई बुया सिर्फ पॉइंट्स का नुकसान नहीं थी, वो बाकी टीम्स को एक और चीज दे रही थी, होप। मैच 7 के बाद इक्वेशन बिल्कुल बदल चुकी थी। चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट करने वाली 7 टीम्स में वो सबसे पीछे थे, लीडर बोर्ड के लीडर से 24 पॉइंट्स पीछे। पहली बार चैंपियनशिप इतनी दूर लग रही थी। फाइनल गेम शुरू हुई।
उस मैच में हमारे साथ अनएक्सपेक्टेड चीजें भी हुई थी कि हमने एक स्प्लिट लिया था कमांड और स्टोन रिच पर, और हमारे पे पूरी टीम आ गई थी एक स्प्लिट पर। तो साहिल उधर स्टोन रिच पे मर गया और हमारा छोटा और मैं कमांड पे थे। तो वो फाइट इतनी जरूरी थी निकालनी, क्योंकि अगर वो फाइट हार जाते तो हमारी पूरी टीम एलिमिनेट हो जाती।
पड़ेगा डिलीट एंड चेक इन हो चुके हैं। इस दौरान 2 खिलाड़ी सर्वाइव करेंगे और माफिया यहाँ से लॉन्च पैड से निकल जाएंगे। कैश टेक में सफलता मिलेगी, माफिया पे शॉट्स लिए गए और काफी जगह चोट लेकर गए।
अब सिर्फ एक ऑब्जेक्टिव था, फाइनल सर्कल तक पहुंचना। 4 टीम्स, चारों चैंपियन रश पर, एक ट्रॉफी, एक फाइनल सर्कल। जो ये गेम जीतेगा वही चैंपियन बनेगा। जोन और कोलैप्स हुई, अब कवर खत्म हो रहा था और इसी मोमेंट पर टीम हिंद ने सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन लिया। बाकी टीम्स हेजिटेट कर रही थी, टीम हिंद पहले मूव कर गई। रिस्क था, लेकिन उस रिस्क ने उन्हें सबसे वैल्यूएबल चीज दी, पोजीशन। अब बाकी टीम्स स्पेस के लिए लड़ रही थी और टीम हिंद के पास ऑलरेडी वो स्पेस थी। जोन के दूसरे साइड फायरस गेमिंग और आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग एक डेस्परेट फाइट में उलझ चुके थे। दोनों जानती थी ये फाइट हारते ही टूर्नामेंट खत्म। दूसरी तरफ आरएनएक्स ने टीम हिंद पर प्रेशर बनाने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बेटर पोजीशनिंग का एडवांटेज टीम हिंद के पास था। पुश डाउन किया और आरएनएक्स एलिमिनेट, और अब सिर्फ 2 टीम्स बच गई थी, फायरस गेमिंग और टीम हिंद।
थोड़ा सा डैमेज होते हुए नजर आएंगे, बढ़ेंगे आगे की ओर। स्काइलर का प्रयोग, ट्रोल को यहाँ पर से डैमेज अकेला गिरा, शॉटो करेंगे, ट्रोल के ऊपर अटैक है, ट्रोल को कहा जाएगा नॉकआउट। प्रिंस एक लौते खिलाड़ी, उनको भी करा बाहर। नेज फ्री फॉर मैच इंडिया कप 2026 स्प्रिंग के विनर्स हमारे सामने, दे आर नन अदर देन टीम हिंद।
चैंपियनशिप्स सिर्फ फाइनल बुया से याद नहीं रखी जाती, ना सिर्फ ट्रॉफी लिफ्ट से, ना सेलिब्रेशन से और ना ही कॉन्फेटी से। उनकी फाउंडेशन उससे बहुत पहले पड़ती है। मेटा को समझने में, स्क्रिम्स के एंडलेस आवर्स में, हर हार के बाद हुई अनकंफर्टेबल डिस्कशंस में और उस बिलीफ में जो कभी टूटने नहीं दिया गया। टीम हिंद ने TEZ FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग इसीलिए नहीं जीता क्योंकि वो परफेक्ट थी, उन्होंने इसलिए जीता क्योंकि जब जब टूर्नामेंट ने उन्हें टेस्ट किया, हर बार उनके पास एक जवाब था। और अब एक नया चैप्टर शुरू हो रहा है। इस बार टीम हिंद के नाम से नहीं, टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग के नाम से। अब बाकी टीम्स ट्रॉफी के पीछे नहीं भागेंगे, वो भागेंगे डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस के पीछे, क्योंकि फॉल सीजन में हर टीम का टारगेट एक होगा, टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग।
इस टाइटल को हमारे को डिफेंड करना एक बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, क्योंकि हमारी अब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है। जैसे कि हम और भी ज्वाइन करी और फैंस भी हमारे बहुत सारे नए जुड़े हैं हमारे साथ, तो हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि उनको निराश ना करना। एंड इस बार कंपटीशन भी बहुत ज़्यादा रहने वाला है, क्योंकि जो लास्ट टाइम टीम्स थी वो भी हैं और काफ़ी सारी नई टीम्स भी आई हैं, तो डेफिनेटली कंपटीशन बढ़ा है एंड उसलिए हमको भी उसके लिए और ज़्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी।
हमको इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर चाहिए था, तो हमने वो अचीव करा है। AWC 2026 के स्लॉट को अर्न करा है और मतलब अपने आप को मतलब प्रूव करेंगे AWC में, ताकि अपने फैंस को निराश ना करें।
हर चैंपियनशिप में एक ऐसा प्लेयर होता है जो सिर्फ स्कोर बोर्ड पर नहीं, पूरे टूर्नामेंट की कहानी पर अपना नाम लिख देता है। TEZ FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के लिए वो प्लेयर था हिंद वुलविन। 22 एलिमिनेशन, 8300 प्लस डैमेज और ग्रैंड फाइनल्स का मोस्ट वैल्यूएबल प्लेयर।
जब मुझे MVP का टाइटल मिला तो मैं बहुत खुश था, क्योंकि मैंने इसी के लिए बहुत प्रैक्टिस करी थी। मेरे घर वाले भी बहुत खुश थे, क्योंकि वो देख रहे थे और उन्होंने देखा कि मुझे MVP मिला और चैंपियन हम बने। आपकी नज़रों में मैं MVP हूँ, बट मेरी नज़रों में मेरी पूरी टीम है, मतलब टीम वर्क ही मेरे लिए सबसे ज़्यादा है।
एक सफर यही खत्म होता है और एक नया सफर शुरू। अब बारी है टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग के बैनर के नीचे अपने टाइटल को डिफेंड करने की। TEZ FFMIC 2026 फॉल के दौरान हम लेकर आएंगे और भी बिहाइंड द सीन्स स्टोरीज, एक्सक्लूसिव प्लेयर इंटरव्यूज और टूर्नामेंट की हर बड़ी कहानी सबसे करीब से।
एंड होप सो इस बार भी हम वो टाइटल को जीतें।
तेज फ्री फायर मैक्स इंडिया कप आ गया है वापस, और इस बार पहले से भी ज्यादा बड़ा। फॉर्ज योर लेगेसी के लिए तैयार हो जाइए, क्योंकि इस फॉल हम लेकर आ रहे हैं ज्यादा सिटीज, ज्यादा टीम्स और चैंपियंस बनने के और भी ज्यादा मौके। जर्नी की शुरुआत होगी 4 हफ्तों के सिटी क्वालिफायर से। हर हफ्ते 3 सिटीज फीचर होंगी, यानी पूरे भारत में कुल 12 सिटीज। हर सिटी में पहली 144 टीम्स कंपटीशन में उतरेंगी, एक ही गोल के साथ, अपनी सिटी का चैंपियन बनना। पार्टिसिपेशन क्राइटेरिया पिछले सीजन जैसा ही रहेगा। अगर कोई टीम अपने पहले अटेम्प्ट में क्वालिफाई नहीं कर पाती, तो वो किसी दूसरे हफ्ते के क्वालिफायर्स में फिर से हिस्सा ले सकती है। सिटी क्वालिफायर्स फेज के आखिर में हर सिटी से एक चैंपियन टीम अगले स्टेज में जाएगी, यानी कुल 12 टीम्स। तेज FFMIC 2026 फॉल के लिए क्वालिफाई करने का सिर्फ यही तरीका नहीं है। इन गेम FFC मोड 5 जुलाई को वापस आएगा। जो भी टीम्स क्राइटेरिया पूरा करेंगी, वो इन गेम FFC क्वालिफायर्स में हिस्सा ले सकेंगी। इस बार कुल 66 टीम्स FFC क्वालिफायर्स से क्वालिफाई करेंगी और सिटी क्वालिफायर विनर्स के साथ अगले स्टेज में जाएंगी। जी हाँ, इस सीजन FFC क्वालिफायर्स के लिए 28 एक्स्ट्रा स्लॉट्स जोड़े गए हैं। 12 सिटी क्वालिफायर विनर्स और FFC क्वालिफायर्स से आई 66 टीम्स अब नए प्लेन स्टेज में जाएंगी। इन 78 टीम्स के साथ तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग में 7th to 12th प्लेस पर रहने वाली टीम्स भी जुड़ेंगी, जिससे कुल 84 टीम्स बनेंगी। प्लेन स्टेज एक हफ्ते तक चलेगा और 20 से 26 जुलाई तक फ्री फायर मैक्स Esports इंडिया के ऑफिशियल YouTube चैनल पर लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट होगा। 84 टीम्स को 12-12 टीम्स वाले 7 ग्रुप्स में बांटा जाएगा। प्लेन्स के अंत में हर ग्रुप की सिर्फ टॉप 6 टीम्स आगे बढ़ेंगी, यानी कुल 42 टीम्स ग्रुप स्टेज में जाएंगी। तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग फाइनल्स की टॉप 6 टीम्स सीधे ग्रुप स्टेज में एंटर करेंगी, जिससे कुल 48 टीम्स बनेंगी। ये स्टेज पिछले सीजन जैसा ही रहेगा, जहां हर रिजल्ट फाइनल राउंड्स की रेस को शेप देगा। सिर्फ सबसे मजबूत और कंसिस्टेंट टीम्स ही सर्वाइव कर पाएंगी और चैंपियनशिप होप्स जिंदा रखेंगी। 48 टीम्स को वीक 1 के लिए 12-12 टीम्स वाले 4 ग्रुप्स में बांटा जाएगा। 6 से 9 अगस्त तक हर ग्रुप कुल 6 गेम्स खेलेगा और हर ग्रुप की टॉप 9 टीम्स ग्रुप स्टेज वीक 2 में जाएंगी, जो 14 से 16 अगस्त तक चलेगा। वीक 2 में पहुंची 36 टीम्स को शफल करके 3 ग्रुप्स में बांटा जाएगा। अब स्टेक्स और भी ऊंचे होंगे, क्योंकि हर ग्रुप की सिर्फ टॉप 6 टीम्स अगले स्टेज नॉकआउट स्टेज में जाएंगी। अब गलतियों की गुंजाइश बहुत कम होगी, वापसी के मौके कम होंगे और हर मैच के असली कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे। 18 एलीट टीम्स नॉकआउट स्टेज वीक 1 में राउंड रॉबिन फॉर्मेट में भिड़ेंगी 28 से 30 अगस्त तक। वीक 1 की टॉप 12 टीम्स वीक 2 डे 1 4 सितंबर को खेलेंगी। डे 1 के आखिर में टॉप 2 टीम्स सीधे ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई करेंगी। बाकी 10 टीम्स 5 सितंबर को डे 2 खेलेंगी और उनके साथ वीक 1 की #13 और #14 टीम्स जुड़ेंगी। 6 इंटेंस गेम्स के बाद डे 2 की टॉप 2 टीम्स भी सीधे ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में जाएंगी। बाकी 10 टीम्स फिर से 6 सितंबर को डे 3 पर खेलेंगी और उनके साथ वीक 1 की #15 और #16 टीम्स जुड़ेंगी। एक बार फिर डे 3 की टॉप 2 टीम्स ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में क्वालिफाई करेंगी। लेकिन बाकी टीम्स की जर्नी अभी खत्म नहीं होगी। नॉकआउट स्टेज वीक 3 ग्रैंड फाइनल्स क्वालिफाई करने का आखिरी मौका होगा। वीक 2 डे 3 की बची हुई 10 टीम्स के साथ वीक 1 की #17 और #18 टीम्स जुड़ेंगी। 11 सितंबर से 12 टीम्स 3 दिनों तक फाइट करेंगी और सिर्फ टॉप 6 टीम्स ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में जाएंगी, उन 6 टीम्स के साथ जो पहले ही क्वालिफाई कर चुकी हैं। ग्रैंड फाइनल्स 2 दिनों तक होंगे। डेट्स और वेन्यू बाद में अनाउंस किए जाएंगे। ग्रैंड फाइनल्स डे 1 पॉइंट रश फॉर्मेट में खेला जाएगा। टीम्स को पॉइंट्स बिल्ड करने होंगे, प्रेशर में सरवाइव करना होगा और सही समय पर परफॉर्म करना होगा। 12 टीम्स कुल 6 गेम्स खेलेंगी और टॉप 6 टीम्स डे 2 ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए हेड स्टार्ट पॉइंट्स अर्न करेंगी। जो टीम पहले 90 पॉइंट्स तक पहुंचेगी उसके लिए चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा और चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट होने के बाद जो टीम सबसे पहले बूया करेगी वही तेज FFMIC 2026 फॉल की चैंपियन बनेगी और ट्रॉफी उठाएगी। ज्यादा सिटीज, ज्यादा क्वालिफिकेशन चांसेस और ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज के साथ कोई भी चैलेंज स्वीकार कर सकता है, लेकिन आखिर में सिर्फ एक टीम अपनी लेगेसी फोर्ज करेगी और तेज फ्री फायर मैक्स इंडिया कप 2026 फॉल की चैंपियन कहलाएगी।
Hello everybody and welcome back to TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 Fall. This is the last day of the play-in stage. A stage that was added so that we could give more underdogs a chance to showcase their skills in front of an actual audience. You know, last season we did not even have a play-in stage. And because the last season our mission was to just find hidden gems. And we did succeed in that mission. Fire Eyes Gaming and Team Hind went on to represent India at the Esports World Cup under the banner of SHUL and Team Hind. And that forces the tournament to evolve. You see, in this fall season, the mission is no longer just to find hidden gems. It is to find contenders that are worthy enough to proudly wear the Indian tricolor on their back and represent us on the international soil. To find contenders whose backs are strong enough to carry the hopes and dreams of 1.4 billion people. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all once again. My name is Crips. With me is gonna be Lucifer, and we're gonna be casting you and taking you through the journey today.
And with that journey, we start off with the format and timeline. As you can see, for TEZ FFMIC 2026 Fall, this is the last day of the play-ins, and the later weekend, that's the first week of August, That is when we start the group stage, where we'll have a total of 48 teams, 42 from the plains who managed to qualify. The last 6 is what we are waiting for to join the others, and once we have that, we also know who the 48 will be, and then from there a search and jump towards the knockout stage is what we are going to be heading. From there we'll get the very best 12 teams who will make it to the grand finals, which you will know about very soon. If you want to get a more idea about the plains itself, or if you're tuning in just now, I will ask first, where were you all these days? But the next is going to be that we started on 20th of July and today is 26th July, meaning 7 groups in total have fought valiantly to make it to the top 6.
Yep. And all these teams who make it to the top 6 will then continue playing in the group stage. And if at all you somehow make it from the group stage to the knockout stage, you will get a minimum of 77,500 rupees as the prize money. But that is of course a tiny portion of the prize pool. The overall prize pool is 1 crore rupees, with the lion's share being 35 lakhs. The second place team gets 17 lakhs and the third place team gets 7 lakhs. Similarly, the amount of money you get keeps on reducing with each place you relinquish. But just by getting into the knockout stage, just by getting into top 18, you get a minimum amount of 77,500. Even the MVP gets their own 1,50,000. And how do you get all this money? By grabbing as many points as possible. Most of you are familiar with the point system already. If you win the Booyah, you get 12 placement points, and if you come in second, you get 9 placement points. Similarly, the amount of placement points keep on reducing. But each elimination grants you 1 point, so a lot of these teams just keep on getting eliminations back to back. And if at all the teams are tied in the points, then we will measure them by the number of booyahs, then we will measure them by the number of eliminations they have, and then last but not the least, the latest ranking in the last game.
With that, when we jump towards the more attentive or interesting part of the tournament, is going to be one unique active skill, and this is something that we followed throughout even the last year and even now, because of which a lot of new ingenuity is coming into the game itself, where players are figuring out, hey, this could be a new active skill that we might use and maybe differ our opponents in an approach for eliminations. And for some of them it's working, a new more tactical approach. Even after OB54 right now that we are seeing, a couple of them have changed in terms of the Nero plushie that we were constantly seeing used is not more there. But with that, we have our playing teams, the last set of 12 teams: NAAZ, PVS, MX, SGU, Tranquility, Learn From Past, PATTERNPLAYS, Nightmare, Sintonio, Insidious, ROFANI and Retired Pros. These are the 12 teams that are going to be joining, and if any one of you are your favorites, start spamming their name in the chat and show them the support.
Yep, you have NAAZ Esports, who qualified from the Jaipur City qualifiers. PVS Gaming, previously known as Team Tamilas, once again winning from the Hyderabad City qualifiers. Even in the last season, they managed to win the Hyderabad City qualifiers, so this is their second entry via City Quals. Then you also have MX Esports, SGU Esports, Tranquility, and Learn From Past. But clearly, the two teams who have come in from the City qualifiers will have some tough competition, because if you take a look at the rest of the teams over here as well, you will see some very, very familiar names who have been even the LAN finalists at some point, and later on they had a bit of a shaky situation in their career, which is why they had to come in from the FFC mode. I'm talking about big names like Ekansh Ginotra. He is playing with PATTERNPLAYS along with Hitman and Jarvis. Surely you guys must have heard of these guys, and they've had to climb their way all the way back, so they are looking to earn their redemption. Along with them, you have Nightmare Official, you have Sintonia, you have Insidious Esports, ROFANI Esports, and then last but not the least, Retired Pros, consisting of Struggle and Somi. You might have seen Struggle as a part of the NG Pros lineup. You might have seen Somi with Blackbirds playing alongside Radhe Thakur. So there's a lot of names that you guys are familiar with, but because they're not playing with their default teams, they will have to climb all the way back to the top from nothing. They will have to earn everything back.
Let's see who will be able to make their climb here in TEZ FFMIC 2026 fall with our predictions as well. Let's see if we will get, because as of now we've not seen any of their games, so it's also us shooting it blindly in terms of the predictions. And going in for PVS Gaming, it had to be, they've made it a back-to-back in the city qualifier, so we both have the name. NAAZ is what I have picked along with Retired Pros, and you also have Retired Pros, because yes, we know what Struggle is capable of, even if he has a new set of lot players that he's trying to figure out his journey here in fall. But along with that, you've gone in for PATTERNPLAYS. Now that has to be the case, because with Ginotra being there with Jarvis, it should be one more LAN finalist that they will be trying to make.
Yep, and they will have 6 games to prove their mettle. 6 games to get into the top 6. We start off with Solara, then we go to Purgatory and Kalahari. Then we have a tiny break where our other caster friends will take over, and they will take you through the journey in Bermuda and Nextera. And the last map is going to be randomized. Now that Alpine is no longer in the mix, one of these 5 spots will be randomized, and that will be the 6th game.
Now let's take a look at the very first game itself with Solara and its preferred drop spots, the Group G teams, and you can see there seems to be a lot of cluster. Not at TV Tower, it is only 2 teams as of now, but Casa Vista and Bayside having 2 teams fronting it along with Bloomtown and the Hub as well. Meaning almost the extreme eastern ends of Solara seems to be a tad bit empty, and I'm a little surprised, meaning Funfair, Windmill, Riders Club, all empty for the taking. If any of the teams have complete control and domination of this eastern side and the circle moves in that direction, Crips, I think that team has a right towards the first booyah.
Yeah, they definitely should have the rights to the first booyah. I mean, I really don't expect that so much of the area will be unoccupied. I'm definitely expecting teams to drop wherever they go, but the center of the map will be occupied pretty quickly because of all the teams rotating in fast. So far, every game of Solara that we have seen in the play-in stage has become a lopsided affair where 1 or 2 teams dominate the rest of the lobby. Will that happen yet again? We will find out in just a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen, as the Solara, the first map of the day, is going to be on your screens any second now.
And it starts off with the flight taking off right above Solara, just above Eco Drain, and you can see already teams taking a drop and splitting in different directions. Tranquility and PATTERNPLAYS seems like these were not the teams that were going towards the Bayside, but both of them approach. Wings moving towards Casa Vista. TV Tower seem to be clustered. Sintonio is the first one to drop. NAAZ is close by, but I think because they spotted Sintonio, they are moving further away. Delta Isle, the east extreme end that we were talking about, still seems to be a lot emptier than we had thought about, but PATTERNPLAYS, they want to make sure that they do not walk away empty from the ends of Bayside in terms of eliminations. Jarvis is going to be up and close towards Utah. His teammates, however, still holding inside the building. So Jarvis is still buying some time, seeing if maybe Tranquility make a mistake. But mistake being done by NAAZ, and NAAZ's Shaitan will be the first to fall here on Solara.
Yup, Shaitan vanquished, demons exercised, and unfortunately, even though your name has nothing insidious, pun intended, you will be exercised by the Ghostbusters. Now NAAZ Esports kind of trapped over here as Agent and Crider still hanging on near the zip rail. Those nades doing quite a lot of damage. They can obviously escape, but I don't think they have enough glue walls to cover themselves and then go in from the zip rails. Nah, they don't even get the chance. Viper rushes up close. Nagi also lands another shot from afar. And just like that, NAAZ Esports are down to their last player.
On the other end, ROFANI Esports, they end up getting 3 eliminations for a trade-off of 1 player. And that is at Delta Isle. We spoke that Delta Isle seemed to be empty, but one of the teams decided to charge in. But right now, charging in is going to be PATTERNPLAYS. Hitman spotted Wings, damage being done. Little exchange. Wings thinks he can back into this battle with a Kar 98k. Shovik wants to help out, but look at Ekanj. That is Ginotra with a throw gun up close and personal. His teammates, they're being hit with the Valiant Dash. Utah tried his best, but it does not work out. It's only a 1 versus 1 exchange. Zakir tries to back up, but that doesn't work as Anshu is there. Shovik on the other end did pick up some of it, so he's on a 1v1 opportunity, but Anshu delivering blows after blows against Tranquility and confirming elimination for PATTERNPLAYS.
PATTERNPLAYS continuing to dominate. We did expect that this would be one of the teams that you need to keep your eyes on. I mean, it is kind of the perfect story, isn't it? A storied player like Ginotra having to climb his way back to the top. The only thing that could offset is if Taksu manages to clutch out this situation over here, because he is surrounded on every direction. Almost gets the knock onto Reddy, but the cord helps him get that headshot. Reddy controlling the end drag really well, and he should be able to get the res onto Warlock as well. Great recovery from LearnFrompAST.
Big recovery from LearnFrompAST. They instantly adapted to this fight and will get those 3 eliminations rather than losing their players, reviving them, and now studio is completely empty for all their shenanigans. But right now shenanigans being done by the retired pro Somi and Blood charging Insidious loser player, but it's not the same team again. Kreider had no clue that Blood was charging. Look at Blood's HP over there, and he still manages to find the last survivor, and with that Insidious become the very first team, and on the other end Blood becomes the one with the most amount of headshots in this game 1 itself.
Yeah, off to a flying start. Just like his name, he is drawing blood. Would have been so cool, right, if he actually got to draw the first blood, then he lives up to his name. I'm sure he will get the chance in another match or so, but this time Shaitan and Agent finally exacting revenge. They take down Somi. Retired Pro's in a bit of trouble as Blood is forced to pop the time turner, and still he loses his life. NAAZ Esports make a bit of a recovery. After having lost 3 of their members earlier on, they now have recovered all of their members, all of their loot, as well as 5 eliminations to boot. So, all is well that ends well, but hey, this is just the beginning for them.
Yeah. It was Kreider who got caught, but it ended up being an advantage for them. Worked out in their favor, and now you see they have 5 total eliminations. But on the other end, PVS, they're also picking up eliminations. The fight that we saw with MX, now PVS have gotten a bit of it. They've taken 1 player off. It seems like Nightmare also did have a little bit of a trouble. They've gone in for the revive game, got their 2 players back up, but MX are unable to get anybody. Taxu, he's been picked off, and now following that suit is going to be Reborn. He will have to wait for his teammates to kick in a revive. Otherwise, this is done for 7 eliminations in total, and Khonshu having the majority for the team, and with that, MX will be eliminated. What a stretch on the rails that instantly PVS end up getting 7 eliminations and even wipe out a squad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool to see that, isn't it? Really fast execution coming through from PVS Gaming. Kind of tells you why they are a notch above all the other teams over here. Having conquered the Hyderabad City qualifiers 2 times in 2 different seasons, and now they've found their next target, it seems like PVS Gaming cannot be stopped. Hold on though, after getting the knock, instantly glue walls are put up. I think the PATTERNPLAYS guys can recover. Yes, Ginotra has been rest. Anshu, Jarvis, Hitman all at full health. Akansh will also recover. For those of you who are wondering, by the way, Akansh is Ginotra. We tried to ask him why he's going after his first name again and why he's not using Ginotra, but I guess that's something personal. I'm still gonna continue calling him Akansh though. But PBS Gaming, they really wanted to get into that fight, but PATTERNPLAYS are simply not giving it to them. They're getting away in their vehicles, and they actually managed to escape successfully.
Yeah, UAV deployed and still no information of the players. They just disappeared. Vanished, just a blink of an eye, and they are done. However, the chase is still on. They still want to look forward to where the players went, and you can see right around the horizon of that slide rail there is a Kanch. Krish, seeing the vehicle being destroyed, they get an idea that at least one of the players should be here, and rightfully so. They read it right jumping towards Hitman, and they put him down. That's another added elimination for PVS. And it seems like they're looking unstoppable. And now PVS from here now look forward to their next opponent, next person in charge. You can see already Khonshu, he is looking forward to the next target. He's on the slide rail. Akansh, he's trapped, and if they get closer over there, they should be able to spot him out as well. Instant boost being used. They all jump out, and Akansh is in trouble now.
Yeah, Akansh is about to get shot very, very quickly. Khonshu did not come in through the glide rails towards Akansh because he knew that Akansh can turn around and trap Khonshu on the zip rails. But his teammates who were underneath the staircases, they can easily get him. Khonshu now once again forced to go around the other side. But they find Akansh. They overwhelm him with the numbers, and Krish gets the final knock. Now, who's going to be PVS's next target? Because these guys are on the prowl, and they are looking for their next victim.
Yeah, they're not stopping at all. They're just taking the slide rail or the pickup truck and making an approach towards the next team. Same intention for NAAZ Esports. They have complete control of Delta Isle, but they are playing outside the zone. And right ahead of them, we were seeing some player cards at least who were close by. But for the time being, at least, when they quick look around to see if anybody is inside any of the compounds or zooming past using the slide rails, nothing of such information in their end. They just see a clear-cut Delta Isle for the time being, and they just hope that they have another fight that they want to convert eliminations on, because they have 6 in total as of now.
Oh, Jarvis, no, he's gonna get caught so hard in the open. Script, Krish, all of them just surrounding him on every side. Time turner pop, but it's not gonna help him at all. They all rush him down. Jarvis had no chance. Poor Anshu tries to cover fire from afar, but even he realizes this is a lost cause. It's best to just heading towards the vending machine and quickly go for the rest before he gets chased. Because you can see that they're hot on his heels already. They are not going to let him escape. They will force him into the aquarium down there. Can he get the rest before they rush him though? Oh my god, no he can't. Anshu also gets finished off. And he was just a few steps away from the machine. Oh,
At this
man,
point,
that does.
PVS
hurt.
looks like the sheriffs of the lobby here, Crips. They're chasing everybody. Any one player they spot, they're not allowing them to go for a revive and nothing being allowed. And Anshu, all that he did over there was maybe buy some time for his teammates who are in a different direction. So maybe at least that works out in favor of PATTERNPLAYS.
Yeah, but like PVS, if they are supposed to be the sheriff, then they deserve to be in like an old-timey western movie set, which is exactly what the studio resembles. So if PVS Gaming end up over here, I wouldn't be surprised. This is their natural place to be if you call them the sheriffs. That being said, the sheriffs are supposed to not bully people, but I guess we have different definitions of what law enforcement over here can be. Meanwhile, back in studio, we have LEARNFROMPAST and SGU Esports just staring daggers at each other. They're just staring at each other from across the walls using their TPP angles. They know that none of them can rush each other yet. They know that the zone is going to pull towards this direction. Probably it's even going to be a much harder shift down towards the south side. And yes, I really think it's going to be a south shift, with Studio being the only team, Studio being the only place that's still in the zone, which is why so many teams are already starting to crowd over here, right? Like, why would ROFANI Esports move over here if they did not predict the? Oh, and there you go. Look at the zone; it just closed in. These three teams in the zone, no problems for them. But what about the others? They will need to work really hard to get inside.
Everybody needs to, and it seems like Nightmare Official, they have started to. They did drop a player and just knock on SINTONIA. Now Saksham and Shreyas, they've closed the distance, but they need to make sure that they time it perfectly. When the two players decide to jump and run up the stairs, the other two provide cover fire from the outside. Right now, the Bolt Maker being called, Nightmare being forced to go inside the compound. And with that, Saksham and Shreyas also decide to back off because their teammates could not step out in the open and go for a fight. Trax still trying his best as he spots Saksham. Siddharth on the other end, he had an opening, another knock on Trax, but this has just been a story that they've been pelleting them with bullets, finding an opening, but nothing being done after that. Nice nade being tossed. Both Shreyas and Saksham receive big damage, but again, two different compounds instantly heal themselves up.
Yeah, so these two teams are also not going to leave now, are they? Unless they manage to lob a god nade which results in at least 2 knocks, I don't think any of them will rush. Nightmare Esports will keep taking pot shots at SINTONIA Esports, and the same will happen vice versa. Oh, but now let's look at the team that will be forced to move inside. None of them can afford to stay over here. Kryder gets knocked. Meanwhile, you've got Benz and Shaitan instantly working on the revive. And as soon as they get the knock onto Kryder, Salu knocks him down yet again. NAAZ Esports losing him for good now. Agent has to lick his wounds, can't do so, gets shot in the vehicle. Shaitan goes down XL. The demon exercised once again, and Benz needs to get inside his Mercedes and get out of here. But this car is about to catch on fire any second now. Oh, hold on. Meanwhile, back over here, these two teams have actually decided to push each other. I did not expect this, Lucifer.
Yeah, but it seems like Nightmare Official, rather than going up the stairs, they're just jumping around the edges, catching on the slide rail and trying to go up, and they've successfully, one of the players, make it a second. Shreyas is about to make the jump, and now Siddharth is just going to hold the fort downstairs in case SINTONIA decide that, hey, this balcony is not working in our favor. They've already overshadowed us. But as of now, I see that Nightmare Official are a number and a player down. This could be an advantage for SINTONIA if they decide to charge in. Namu is the one who's closest. Trax has been given the call as well as they try to jump around, but opening still not found. However, TRANQUILITY, they spot the players of Nightmare out in the open and they find one knock, and now TRANQUILITY, they make a jump. However, quick exchange. Utah still trying to provide cover fire. Wings now on Trax. It's 3 different teams trying to fight amongst each other. Zak is taken. SINTONIA, they're taking the best of it. Immortal is closer, and with that, it is first team that gets eliminated. PATTERNPLAYS were not the ones here, but none of them actually get eliminated. Rather, they all back off. It was just PATTERNPLAYS in a complete different fight who get eliminated.
Yeah, PATTERNPLAYS did not really get to come inside the zone. They were gate kept really hard, and because of that, all these other teams also get a bit of breathing room. You see, both SINTONIA as well as Nightmare Esports were forced to share that compound, but when TRANQUILITY came chasing in, all of them dispersed once again. And a similar situation can be seen over here. Retired pros, even though they've lost a member, they do not know that on the other side of this roof is Benz from NAAZ Esports. Now that they see a monster truck being called in, probably they'll realize that there's someone next to them. But for now, all their attention is on SGU Esports, who are busy trying to make that crossing across the railway tracks. Somi shoots them down. And if that wasn't enough, there's going to be LFP Esports also ready to greet SGU with open arms.
SGU in big trouble right next to the tracks. Retired pros have an advantage. Blood dropping down Sallu as well, and all the four have reunited. And now they're taking the tracks in the direction towards Abuya. Nightmare and TRANQUILITY survived by one player each, and both of them are sharing a compound, just a wall and glue walls to separate them. SGU, after losing a player, somehow have made it across safe and sound. Learn from past, now holding both these two teams. It could be a triangular fight between these three teams. In case of maybe Retired Pros started off, it could be an advantage, but Retired Pros, they just peek out, and it is PVS from the other end who picked the last player of Nightmare.
Oh my god, Nightmare Esports also having to face their nightmares. Forced to go to sleep, they are eliminated. Retired pros backed up against a corner have to fight their way through. Even though both TRANQUILITY as well as SGU are shooting at them, I think Retired pros can handle this heat. Oh my god, they also need to learn from past, and they need to teach them a lesson. However, they are kind of cornered over here. Benz succumbs to the play zone. That results in the loss of NAAZ Esports. However, LFP are luckily not getting shot by ROFANI Esports just yet. They're getting distracted by someone else. So as long as Retired Pros and LFP continue fighting each other over here, they should be fairly isolated. However, they don't need to move just yet. The zone will move towards them. All the other teams are going to come descending upon them, so they need to make their way outside the circle and hug the walls as quickly as they can.
That's what Retired Pros are doing, and even Learn From Past. And Learn From Past, they're happy that they're in a studio, not a full-fledged compound. Even though this is makeshift, it is enough for them to provide cover fire. SGU, who managed to take a quick launch pad and run in the other direction as the zone is shifting, they've been forced to back up. Rusher trying his best, but it doesn't work out. Warlock puts him down. Champ close by instant glue wall and revival as well. And that is going to be Learn From Past not getting the elimination, but they're still now hitting shots. We thought Learn From Past is going to be the team who are going to be cornered, but it is not the case. Any team trying to take a shot at them, instant answer from Learn From Past is a knock against them.
Yeah, and this is getting so crowded, man. It's getting so chaotic. Are you sure this is not a train station? Because it looks like it's as crowded as a train station over here. SGU up on the top of the roof. You have Learn From Past shooting down Retired Pros from below. And as long as Retired Pros do not bother anyone else, as long as they run away to the other side of that wall, they should be safe. But Learn From Past have such a good place over here. They've got an iron grip on this side of the studio, which will mean that PVS Gaming need to avoid them. They cannot afford to get into a fight just yet.
Making sure that they don't Learn From Past, having the better advantage and information, especially that they know where PVS Gaming is. Trying their best to go around, maneuver. A nade being tossed is a warning one for PVS in case they decide to step out. And NAAZ keeping an eye, and he also throws down a flash freeze now, trying to damage. It's only one of the players who made it across. I'm sure that they don't have idea about it because they did not spot it. However, NRZ's flash freeze is chipping health very little, and especially that they're inside the circle, it's still working out. But Khonshu, look at him. He's being at the frontier of this run, trying to go across, Learn From Past Vision, and they will successfully do so. None of the players get taken down or knocked, and Learn From Past, what they wanted to do, now they have been forced at the edge of the zone, and PVS Gaming have gotten to a safer spot.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised that PVS Gaming can cross those train tracks without taking any losses. Forget losses, they barely even took any damage. So that is a massive failure on the side of LFP. They needed to block their enemies, otherwise now they will have to work much harder in the next zone. For now, it's going to be ROFANI Esports as well as Learn From Past. The two teams on the western side of the train tracks, both shooting each other with everything they've got. They're throwing in the kitchen sink. They get the knock onto Viper, but he's instantly res. Oh my god. SGU from above. They are now pressuring ROFANI Esports below. And with both these teams fighting each other vertically, Learn From Past will have a great time trying to third party on this one. Klaus is desperately trying to reposition into the train, hoping that nobody spots him. Viper and Honey make that crossing as well, even though LFP are trying to shoot them down. SGU forced to heal for a second, and that gives ROFANI Esports the breathing room that they so desperately needed.
SGU don't have a breathing space. Now they're forced out because the zone's closed in. Learn From Past about the train and the fight breaks out. Learn From Past finding the opening one after another, completely taking down SGU Esports without even giving them a chance inside a reservation at the train. And now Klaus, I don't know what the plan was. He instantly dashed and Learn From Past put him down. And ROFANI Esports, from almost a situation of an advantage, not being at the edge of the zone, now are a member down.
Oh yeah, LFP basically getting a Tatkal ticket and climbing up on the trains, surfing across to get that position in the center of the circle. The zone continues to shift and LFP have quite a lot of area under their control. The retired pro is finally forced to come outside. Blood gets shot by Krish as soon as he steps out. Somi desperately trying to put up the glue walls between him and PVS Gaming so he can isolate the fights, but he cannot isolate that battle against Reddy. And RZ jumping in as well. Reddy gets the first knock. Viper retaliates. But Reddy with the double! Oh my god, he's wiping the floor with PVS Gaming. Somi, trapped in that cocoon, has put up 2 glue walls to keep him safe. But PVS Gaming are now getting choked in that tiny corner. Learn From Past, teaching everybody a lesson. RTP go down. Khonshu also basically going for a heal battle, not fighting them off. But his teammates find all the knocks. They teach them a lesson. And PVS Gaming win the first booyah of the day.
It was bound to be. They were the sheriffs, and what a cinematic ending. You mentioned that we head up towards studio, and if they do, the Wild Wild West breaks out in their favor. And yes, PVS Gaming, they get the very first booyah, and they will make sure that the land, which was unruly, is going to be completely ruled by them in the very first booyah itself. Game number 1, and what a start coming in from the ads. 2 timers from the same city, and now they start off with the booyah as well here in fall.
Amazing stuff from PBS Gaming. Look at those last few fights. I mean, they are so chaotic, man. Like, so many people fighting each other. Poor Viper got shot by Reddy while he was not even looking in Reddy's general direction. Somi decides that he's not gonna fight. He just tries to go for the heal battle. But while Khonshu is busy healing, you have Krish and Yogesh hunting down every single member of Learn From Past. And Krish ends up getting 11 eliminations. That is absolutely bonkers. 5,123 damage with 7 assists. Oh my god, Lucifer, these are some ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, amazing stuff being done by PVS, and I think PVS, while they were looking really good and efficient in terms of their fights, I have to give credits to one player from ROFANI Esports, Nagi. He broke the game completely for Learn From Past. He did not take shots at PVS because he had proper vision and his scope was aligned with the players from Learn From Past, and one after another using his M82B is what I saw, that he put the players down, gave an opportunity for PVS to instantly take them down, and even Nagi jumped in, and the timing was just so perfect that PVS had the majority players and most of the others all were tending to their wounds and losses that they had in that final fight. With that, let's take a look at the Booyah team stats. We spoke about Krish already, Yogesh, Khonshu and Script, and you can see Chrono, Moss and the Steffi, and this is why I was talking about a lot of new changes that teams try to bring about. And PVS, one reason they also ended up winning or not taking at all any damage is because of the Painted Refuge coming in from Steffi on Script.
Whew. Amazing numbers from every single player. I mean, Khonshu with 4,460, Yogesh with 4,000, Krish with 5,000. It's kind of weird that Script has so much damage, 1985 damage, but only 1 elimination. It kind of shows that they probably would have had a lot more eliminations if they weren't stolen away. Like, they still have 23, almost double the amount of eliminations that Learn From Past has, but it still seems like the amount of damage they dished out versus the amount of knocks they got is just not the same. They probably could have had a lot more.
They could have had a lot more, and I'm pretty sure retired pros as well as ROFANI Esports will also be thinking the same, because they were inside the circle. They had an opportunity. PVS Gaming, rather, they were never in studio. They were playing shots from outside. They were taking down NAAZ. They were taking down TRANQUILITY. And there was an opportunity for retired pros to stop PVS Gaming. But we saw first they crossed retired pros. From there, they moved against Learn From Past and then made a crossover in a complete different position where nobody could take a hit at them. And I think that just positioning was just too perfect. But on the other end, teams at the bottom, I think teams especially sitting at 4 points and 2 and nothing, Insidious, MX as well as Nightmare, they better buck up, otherwise it's going to get even tougher in this lobby.
Yeah, and it's going to be super tough. I think all the teams who managed to get to studio quite early on did not really have that many troubles. PVS Gaming were hunting for everybody all across. I mean, they went from Bloomtown to Casa Vista to Aquarium. But then take a look at, there's so many teams. ROFANI, Esports, LFP, SGU, all of them were in studio already. So they didn't have much of a difficult time rotating in. PVS on paper, while they should have had a very difficult time rotating, considering they were one of the last teams to enter, they had more than enough firepower to control that entire area to the west of the tracks. And when they finally did that, look at the amount of pressure they put onto SGU, basically not even from the rooftops. They also put a lot of pressure onto LFP, because LFP had to cross that railway track very, very late. And by that time, they had already lost one of their members. So PVS Gaming, even though they were just at 3 members, they were able to just manhandle the entire lobby because they were very good at isolating those gunfights. And they know exactly when to apply the pressure so that the team that they are most vulnerable from doesn't attack them from that direction at that moment. That's great situational awareness from PVS Gaming.
And I think with the great game that they put forth in Solara, now they have a lot more confidence, and we've seen this, right? Especially yesterday as well. Teams in momentum end up getting a back-to-back booyah, and I think it could happen here that PVS have found the very start. And I think no other team has shown us that confidence of a gameplay in the manner that PVS were converting. On the other end, I think there is still some teams up for challenge, like how Learn From Past played it out. They had an opportunity, it's just that they did not move ahead of the zone, because of which they ended up being wiped out. Even ROFANI Esports, they were close to it, but missed out in that fight. Nagi was very crucial, he played his role as well. But with this, let's take a look at our predictions going into Game 2. What do we think? And that is the reason I have ROFANI Esports being my first pick, with PATTERNPLAYS now making their comeback, and Nightmare, who were close, but just that fight that they took was not that great.
Yeah, I agree that all your predictions over here did actually perform really well in this map number 1 of Solara. But going into Purgatory, I don't know if they will be able to continue pulling this off, because teams like ROFANI Esports were only safe because they were able to use that urban area to basically build a little pocket for themselves where they are safe for at least one circle, if not the entire game. But in Purgatory, all of that will not be possible because it's such a wide and open map. And if ROFANI Esports actually goes towards Brasilia, they will end up clashing with potentially 4 different teams. Oh my god, this is going to be so difficult to watch, but also so entertaining.
Yeah, it is indeed, I agree. And especially, I think this is one of the groups that we've been seeing having one of the teams, or at least 2 or maybe more, being eliminated in the very early game, which is not happening in any of the groups. Every group, at least in the first and the second game, we've seen 12 teams survive till at least the around 10-minute mark. Not exactly 10, but still around 8 minutes, 7 minutes. But here, barely making it to 5, we are already seeing teams being eliminated. That says a lot of the lobby, and that is the reason we mentioned this group itself is completely unpredictable. Everybody has a chance. While PVS Gaming might be running away, PATTERNPLAYS might want to make a recovery. Learn From Past and retired pros want to get into the top 6, but everybody else is also showing caliber. TRANQUILITY had an opportunity. They decided to take the fight, but they did not know or have clue of which teams were exactly present, and I think there they got clustered, ended up losing players. But going into Purgatory, at least now they'll have an idea of how teams are moving and playing as the flight has taken off.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the second game of the day started. We start off near the western end of the map, going from the... Oh, never mind. Look at that.
Moat house.
What a lovely skewed plane path. How are you supposed to get to Marble Works and Golf Course now? They'll have to land on the edges of Brasilia, hopefully find a vehicle and then make it across.
One thing that I did see when we were talking of the preferred drop spots is the extremes in the direction, whether it be east or west. This time west was completely empty. Golf course right now struggle, making sure that the team who struggled without any points is going to struggle even further. That's going to be Reborn. He spotted out in the open, nothing to play, just maneuvering around the bullets. For how long can he do that? Struggle, he's given a call to his teammates, and that's the reason they're the ones firing bullets and not him, because he knows with the mini Uzi he needs to close in the distance. And finally Sallu picking up a card puts him down, and that is the first elimination. And the distance at 103 coming in from Sallu. It is Retired Pros to start things off.
Retired Pros start things off. Get one elimination. Meanwhile, ROFANI Esports also having to recover from their losses. They just rest one of their players against NAAZ Esports. So those two teams also having a great fight somewhere near the Marbleworks region. But as they continue moving across, they come across PP as well. They find their nemesis in form of Anshu. Dashes across to safety in the other warehouse. Oh no, wait. Can they get across? Yes, he does. Anshu can lure them towards Jarvis and Ekansh. Forge is going to be very difficult to get around, especially in between warehouses. There's such an open region. NAAZ Esports have been discovered. At least 3 of their players have been discovered, yeah? So now the PP players can actually use this information, because Jarvis and Ekansh have control of the vending machine, and they know that NAAZ Esports want to use it. At least guard it, if not use it right away. This could be one of the places which turns into a massive third-party extravaganza. Because look at how many teams are hovering around over here. Learn from Past as well as SGP are also in the vicinity. And now that NAAZ Esports finally strike, they lose Shaitan. Kryder also running for his life. He survives the first encounter, but takes a little bit of damage as he tries to get across. Jarvis trying to find him once again. But Kryder, using the smokes as well as Zane's ability, is trying to buy himself some more time. Trying to buy a little bit of a distraction so that SGU don't come in and hunt him down.
It's never worked for Kryder. Every time that he's tried to hold or at least play further, he's always been caught, and it seems to be again a similar situation. But as you rightly mentioned, PATTERNPLAYS holding it for so long has now allowed access to 2 more new teams to enter. Learn from Past as well as SGU Esports. Now both NAAZ and PATTERNPLAYS, they do not have the numbers. Hitman slowly gliding down, and none of the players spot him. He's, yes, around the other adjacent edge of the hill, but right is now not of a problem for anybody. But Rusher, a problem that he has to face is going to be Learn from Past right below. He has a VSK on hand. Learn from Past are very close. He is trying to take a peek down, but then he gets spotted by another team who's making their entry. This is the 5th team, and it's going to be Insidious. Rusher gets rushed, and he has nowhere to run. Instantly gets shut down.
Oh, well, SGU at least don't have all their forces in this area. They left Russia back hoping to farm some eliminations, but that's what happens when you don't full commit to a fight. You end up losing players one by one. Even Insidious lose a player on the roof. Patel kind of isolated against Learn from Past over here. If NRZ and Warlock decide to rush him, then nothing can save Patel. For now, he's just using the glue walls and hoping that the electrotherapy will keep him alive. And he's also hoping that his teammate on the top of the roof will be able to provide him some backup. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Flash freeze is once again thrown towards him, and here comes the full dash by NRZ. The Oscar Valiant dash breaks through that glue wall and nets his team yet another knock. Even Kiran downstairs now has to relinquish the roof. Tries to run on the other side, but Learn from Past should be able to get angles onto him. 75% HP remaining for Kiran, but he's about to run into another little warehouse where multiple opponents are waiting for him. Learn from Past stop chasing him. They realize that the danger across the other side of this warehouse is way too much. It's too much risk, and they don't want to commit to this fight just yet.
Yeah, their revival point position seems to be a stronghold, and they will hold around those edges. Insidious, in the meanwhile, they were able to revive the players and even pepper down some of the PATTERNPLAYS players, which gave them another added on elimination. NAAZ, in the meantime, are slowly going around the edges. Now with the glue wall, Melter, Kiran, make sure that the players from NAAZ do not close the distance. Kiran has a woodpecker. He was the one who found the opening when he jumped on the roof. But now what can he do? Kryder's been better. And with the AUG, it's going to be Agent who puts him down. So all his maneuvering did not work. That's going to be another added on elimination for NAAZ Esports to add to their lot. However, Shaitan, it seems like he decided to take a drop in a complete different position, will be picked off by Retired Pros.
Well, at least NAAZ Esports have the luxury of resting Shaitan and Benz yet again, but don't tell me they're gonna lose Kryder again, right? Like, he just ventures out into the open without a worry about his life, and Karthik quickly humbles him. There's not a lot of glue walls remaining. He finally gets one, but the moment he puts it down, Russia finds him. Oh my lord. Even Agent is in too much danger. He's trying to go outside and hoping to get the res onto Kryder, but he gets finished off way too fast. So now Agent must save his own skin. And guess what he did? In process of exposing himself, he's now brought down the cavalry, SGU rolling down the hill in their vehicle and rushing his warehouse.
It seems like one of the teams want to make this Forge their home. As retired pros, they're also now driving past around the edges. SGU, they better execute this fight quickly, or retired pros have the better advantage of the position. While we did see Karthik, who was above the crane, having an advantage on the verticality, is not going to be enough. Blood now pointing with AC-80 to take the players down, but the timing better, and they instantly close the distance, and therefore SGU will be able to enter inside. Kryder will be put down instantly, confirmation coming across, and now retired pros, the elimination that they wanted is not yet close to them. SGU Esports, every time retired pros try to close the distance, they're moving away from them.
Yeah, SGU, I'm actually surprised how they still have all their players alive. They didn't even need a lot of revives. Retired pros finally forcing Rusher out into the open, where he can be shot by both Blood as well as Somi at the same time. But he uses the Morse, trying to reposition instantly. He's closed in the distance between him and his teammates, so Champ as well as Hafiz should be able to save him. However, look at Struggle. Does he know that there's more than 3 players around this corner? So far, he can only hear 2 footsteps. Oh my god, Blood and Somi rush the other warehouse. They will be closing in the distance against Rusher and Hafiz, and they get the knock onto them instantly. Oh my lord, that was way too fast. Those are 2 players down instantly. But the PATTERNPLAYS guys are not alone. Even PVS Gaming are taking shots at them. That's a massive battle going on near the Forge. Yes, please, let's take a look at it again. SGU somehow still have control of the vending machine region. Blood trying to get in and confirm the knock onto Champ, but Champ gets rest again, only to be fallen down again. Oh my lord, this is like a completely recurring pattern. And I'm not making a PATTERNPLAYS pun over here. This is literally the same pattern. People come in here, use the vending machine, die. Come in here, use the vending machine, die again. It just keeps on repeating.
I think finally it is going to come to a stop with the zone moving away from it, and retired pros are the only one who will be able to forge their weapons at the last and get the eliminations for themselves. Nightmare around Brasilia, however, they don't have all their players. They did have a fight. I think it seems to be against Sintonia, and there's going to be another elimination that they will very soon confirm. They are holding on the last player who tried to take them down, but it's not going to work out. He'll also be now taken down. Trax and Immortal both in compounds of Brasilia and in favor for Nightmare to pick their elimination. They just got the 3rd, and very soon it's going to be the 4th elimination, with Immortal also being confirmed.
Ooh. Alright then, Insidious and PATTERNPLAYS, they end up in Lumber Mill. Keep in mind, Insidious had Kiran somewhere in the Forge area. After Kiran died, he was respawned by his teammates, and then, you know, after dropping from the sky, he came down to the southern island where the rest of his teammates were. Even PATTERNPLAYS, for that matter, were participating in that massive Forge battle, but after losing a couple of players, they managed to get the reses, and now they find their way towards the southern island right next to Fire Brigade. The monster truck keeps them alive for the time being, gives them a little information that the bridge is occupied, so they cannot cross using the bridge. I'm sure they will find another part to rotate. But if they are not careful, they will run into the 2 remaining members of PVS Gaming who are also now on the southern island. But the 2 members of PVS Gaming who are in Brasilia, they are getting hunted down by ROFANI Esports, man. Krish at least gets the knock onto Viper and gets the confirmation too. But he's kind of alone over here. No backup around, so he will be picked apart.
He tried his best to isolate the duels, but it did not work out. It was only one of the fights that he was able to tend to and win against. Klaus instantly revives the player, so Viper's back in action. And ROFANI Esports, they have complete control of the southern compounds of Brasilia. Nothing much to be worried about. Also a cautionary UAV being sent just in case somebody is up close, maybe hiding in those compounds or crawling around if there's an opportunity, because they have a vending machine. anywhere with the vending machine is always a stronghold, and multiple players will try to reach out just because they need an opportunity either to revive or buy some things up, making sure they're ready for the next fight that they will be taking on. But nothing like that for ROFANI to be worried about. However, one thing now they have to worry is the circles made a move ahead of where they are, so they have to slowly start tending in that direction, and that's what they're doing. Getting the vehicle quickly will take a rotation towards the edge of the circle. They already know that there is nothing that they have to be worried about if there is an opponent behind. So easily they get across, climb the hill, make it inside the circle.
ROFANI Esports should be able to take that high ground near the edge of the circle, and they will probably have to face SINTONIA for that little spot. Meanwhile, Pattern Pros versus PBS Gaming also in central. That's a different fight happening. Hold on though, SINTONIA might just die over here. Klaus gets the knock, and there could have been a saving grace coming through from Namu, but nope, it doesn't happen. ROFANI Esports wiped the floor with SINTONIA in a matter of seconds.
ROFANI Esports, we thought they are safe and sound and nobody to be troubled with, but even though there was trouble, they were able to strike it down. That's going to be Nagi. Big hits coming in from his end. 3 total eliminations all alone, and in a total of 8 for ROFANI Esports. Now the next trouble that they have in front of them is going to be NAAZ Esports. Now NAAZ, I hope they have an idea about it. ROFANI have been looking powered up completely, using their metal of caliber in terms of mechanics and putting players down. Now Agents already spotted. This will get them going again for another fight. NAAZ, they are a little spread around, but the zone's also closing in, so this is not the best spot to be at compared to what ROFANI have. They have the vertical advantage, they have a tower to play with. The only thing I think NAAZ can do here is just rush right up close, but ROFANI, they've also tended against those fights and won against it.
Yeah, ROFANI Esports putting on quite a lot of pressure onto NAAZ Esports. Now, keep in mind the NAAZ Esports are just barely in the zone. They don't have any hard cover, so they will be able to use their glue walls and keep themselves safe for the time being. But look at Benz, that's a lovely guard headshot onto Nagi. Respawn comes through yet again. Skylar hit rather than thrown in, but that forces the chrono so that the ROFANI Esports can keep themselves safe from the nades. Oh my god, Kryder and Shaitan both jump down, hoping to get the knock onto Honey, but Kryder has backup. Agent tries to come through. Viper gets the re-knock. Oh my god, this is so good. Klaus with the double. He takes down Shaitan as well as Kryder. And now once again, ROFANI Esports wiping the floor with NZ. They have destroyed 2 teams in a matter of just a few seconds. Their fights are so quick. They destroy NAAZ Esports. And just before this, in a matter of seconds, they were also responsible for the elimination of SINTONIA. They were so fast. That's such a good team.
ROFANI Esports looking meticulous in their approach, and it seems like they are trying to make their very own booyah. And I even mentioned, if not for Nagi, of how well he's holding, it could be a booyah in the previous game as well. They did not have the numbers, the zone was closing in. PVS looked a lot more chaotic there. This time, ROFANI in control, but while we are talking about PVS, they are nowhere to see, at least in the close battle, with the Bolt Maker being called between Retired Pros, Learn From Past and Insidious. Retired Pros, as soon as the Bolt Maker is done, they instantly run out. Same is the approach by MX. They decide that they will now go helter-skelter. Brutaksu's down, dead player as well. Clutch trying his best to duel on the 1v3 over there, doesn't work out. He'll also be put down, and dead player was the last one. With him going out, that is MX put to rest.
Nightmare Esports. I just realized all their players have names that start with S. Siddharth, Saksham, Shreyansh, as well as Shanks, all of them rushing in tandem towards the tents where SGU is holding. They spot Rusher out in the open and they realize that the tents are empty. The campsite is theirs for the taking. Even a little coin spot is available for them. So they should be pretty good. Unless they don't see PBS Gaming coming from under the hill. They should have the element of surprise. PBS Gaming definitely must have spotted Nightmare Esports by now, but they're simply not taking shots because Khonshu is the last player surviving for PBS Gaming. He's just going to hide over there and continue hoping that Nightmare Esports don't look in his general direction. And they're not. Look at that. Shreyans gets the last knock onto Rusher, and with that, SGU is also out.
And even Khonshu, Shanks picks him off, and that is the end for PBS Gaming. They had a fantastic game 1, but right now it seems like the other squads are picking up. Even though in this game they have 17 eliminations, they just did not have enough players for this final battle that is about to brew. In the meantime, Learn From Past now taking down ROFANI Esports. They have never been troubled so far, but this time they end up losing 2 players. It's down to Honey and Viper. Retired Pros as well as Insidious, both of them do the damage, and now ROFANI Esports do not have members working in their favor. However, Nightmare, after a battle that they were able to dabble, now they're holding off against Insidious.
Woohoo!
And they put all of them down. Saksham with the last blow against Karthik, and all the 4 players survive. 15 total eliminations for Nightmare Official, and now they're moving into their next battle.
Yeah, Nightmare Officials are about to turn this game into a nightmare for everybody else. They are the only team with all 4 members alive. Oh my god, ROFANI Esports are losing players by the second. Reddy gets the final nail in the coffin, and that's the end of ROFANI Esports. But after Retired Pros have done that, their next target is going to be Learn From Past. Nightmare Esports are trying desperately to shoo LFP away from this region so that Nightmare Esports are the only ones that control the shipping containers. But Retired Pros use this as an opportunity. They try to take shots onto Shanks, and Shanks almost goes down, but he saves himself by placing that glue wall. Yet another glue UAV is still available from the side of Nightmare Esports, but they haven't used it yet. Probably saving it for a rainy day when they're forced out into the open. But Siddharth slices and dices blood. How did this happen? Siddharth going from outside the zone to make that flank onto RTP possible, and he does it. Shanks lands the shot onto Reddy, and this should keep the pressure away from them. But that time turner popped by Blood, it could be game changing. Somi and Blood are both trapped in there. Shreyas can't find his way inside, but Saksham lands the shot. He finds the tiny gap in the glue wall. 2 knocks come through from Saksham. Make it 3. He gets the full squad wipe, but now he's up alone. He got 3 elimination against Retired Pros, but he needs to do it yet again against Learn From Past in order to clutch out this booyah.
Has to isolate, is getting tougher and tougher as they're closing the distance. He's trying to jump around the glue walls, but he was cornered around the edge of the container, and that'll be the last shot. And the booyah going towards Learn From Past. They wanted this booyah in the previous game. They had the better advantage. It was just the zone moved away from them, and they missed out. They make sure that they don't miss the next one, and Learn From Past get game number 2 booyah for themselves. And what a way for them to hold. As soon as that final fight was about to break out, Nightmare Official, they closed the distance. On the other end, Retired Pros as well. And Learn From Past understood they are in the grinder. They will be sandwiched if they decide to take the fight head on there. They moved away, created space for themselves, and even read what Shanks was thinking to do. And them taking down Shanks is the reason Learn From Past had a lot more of a breather. And Nightmare Official on the other end did not have a backup.
Yeah, they did not really have much of a backup plan, right? Because they tried to create some space by forcing LFP back near the shipping containers. That did not happen. So then they were like, okay, let's just go rush against Retired Pros, because those are the only teams which still have some sort of a hard cover available. Meanwhile, Retired Pros, what do I even think, man? They cleared out their backlines. They thought they were safe, but then you have a player from Nightmare Official who literally goes outside the zone to get the knock and uses the sight to get that knock. It's incredible how much damage that can do to your mentality. So yeah, Nightmare Official should have had this game in the bag, but LFP just snatched it out from right under their noses, especially with Dora being the MVP. He is doing God's work over here with that Morse. That standard sniper loadout with the Rocky means that he can also go invisible much, much faster.
And Reddy having the thrill of battle, Avon 2-4 on the other end. Sorry, Kora, my bad. For a second I was like, hey, thrill of battle, this was really good coming in from there. And NRZ with 3 eliminations and Warlock with 1. This was what they played on, but you can see it is not a high I would say elimination game coming in from them, or high damage game. As you can see, Rushers have barely 3 eliminations, Warlock has only 1. It is Dorado who has 4 eliminations, who's sitting at the highest in terms of damage, more than NRZ at 2195. And this is how the team managed to get themselves a booyah and push towards a total of 22 points. However, Nightmare Official, as you mentioned, they should have had that opportunity. It is just them deciding to split on their approach, and even one of their players just sighting across and getting an elimination to add on to as a veiler of medal. And I think this going around in favor for Nightmare in this game compared to the previous one. I'm happy. They just had single digit in the previous game, and now they have 27 total points.
Yeah, 27 total points for Nightmare Official. That's actually pretty good, right? I mean, 18 eliminations, that too against some heavy hitters like Retired Pros, Insidious. They also survived that entire skirmish in the fort, so that's also pretty cool. Meanwhile, Learn From Past. Even though they got the Booyah, they have only 10 eliminations to their name, which isn't bad. 22 points are nothing to scoff at. I just hope that they can keep doing this. But PBS Gaming, once again, getting a 20-plus point match. They just continue going from strength to strength.
Strength to strength. Every team is what they would want to convert on, but for the time being it was only learn from past. But you have to also talk about Insidious, of how they were tending to their wounds. We saw them around the forge, then they went to Lumber Mill where they put players down, took control of it, and even Insidious for a second were about to trouble learn from past. As you can see, they were just right behind them, but the timing from Nightmare and learn from past together troubling Insidious, and then learn from past did not even have an opportunity. It was just Nightmare making a jump, taking them down. ROFANI Esports getting in between of a clash of learn from past and retired pros. They get taken down, and learn from past from there knew what they had to do. I think very little rotation that we ended up seeing from Learn From Past compared to the other teams, but Learn From Past, once they stuck to the decision that this is how we are going to hold and be ahead of the game, they managed to win it out and get themselves a booyah, and also get them at the top spot at today's standings at the end of Game 2.
The top spot held by PBS Gaming with 57 points in total. 40 eliminations. And just to show you how dominant they are, the second team has 42 points in total. They have just 2 more points than the elimination number of PBS Gaming.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between a team that knows what it's like to play in FFMIC before. Learn from past though. I don't know how much experience they've got from the past, but they're definitely learning and they're evolving. ROFANI Esports also climbing up a spot by getting 39 total points. And they overtake Retired Pros, who are still stuck at 36. Nightmare Officials at 31, but then after that, the 6th place team, NAAZ Esports, have only 22 points. 5th place, 31, 6th place, 22. And every other team after that is just a few points away. So yeah, while the top 5 teams are surging ahead, the 6th spot is still heavily contested and it could be anyone's game. NAAZ Esports, they really need to pull their socks up together so that they can somehow stabilize. And they don't even need to do much. All they need to do is not have an incredibly bad game, and they should go through.
Fingers crossed. Let's see of which teams will make it across, because now we are heading towards game number 3, Crips. This is the halfway mark for Group G. They better up their game. Now, just as an example, Nightmare Official, when they ended game number 1, they were at the 8th spot. And now that they played a brilliant game, made it towards the last and final fights, they've jumped to the top 6 spots. They're at hashtag 5. That tells us that the comeback is still possible. Yes, PVS is running away with eliminations after eliminations. Even though they got eliminated early, they had 17 eliminations at the end of game 2 as well. That tells us of how good they are in terms of the elimination spree. But heading towards our game number 3, Kalahari gives everybody another opportunity as we see the preferred drop spots. It seems like one of the ends of any of the maps we've seen so far has always been empty. Look at the cluster from Refinery all the way towards the bottom. There's at least 10 teams in total just there.
Yeah, I do not believe that chart for 1 second, man. I mean, I have no faith in that prediction at all. But what I do believe in are these predictions that I've picked up over here. I think Retired Pros are going to have a gala time in Kalahari because they are very good at resetting their fights quickly enough. Then I believe PATTERNPLAYS will finally have a decent game. I mean, up until now, they have been kind of struggling, even though they are one of the more experienced teams. They're not playing like them. They're not dominating like the experienced team that they are. So hopefully this could be the game that turns everything. Put your hands together for the halfway mark of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's game number 3. Kalahari up on your screens right now.
And with that, it is going to be ROFANI Esports who are the first to fall, and following that suit is TRANQUILITY. And as soon as they understand that ROFANI is in the same direction, they quickly change. So do Nightmare Official. And ROFANI Esports, as you can see, they're the first, getting closer around the regions of command post is what we are spotting. However, NAAZ, they go further away from the flight path itself, where we saw that majority of the teams were not moving. That's going to be Santa Catarina. And from there all the way till Shrines is completely empty. There's only one player from ROFANI Esports who's gone further north. Everybody else around the command post and refinery region, you can already see players are taking each other down. Knocks are coming across. ROFANI will not be able to grab the elimination. Learn from past, had a player knocked, will quickly revive them. However, Nightmare, they grab the elimination for themselves.
ROFANI Esports once again looking to conquer command post. This is basically a rematch of what happened in the previous game, but oh my lord, wait a
what?
second. How on earth are PATTERNPLAYS out already? Down at 12th. Oh my god, I had so much faith in this team. Please don't blame me for getting eliminated. This is definitely not a case of Gus's curse, okay?
Yeah, it is not. This lobby itself, Crips, we spoke about it. In comparison to any of the other groups, this is the one who has not shown any mercy against anybody. And so are the ways of Learn From Past. And now you can see them closing the distance against ROFANI Esports. They've already found the opening knock. And that is the reason this confidence comes in. NAAZ as the rusher with Warlock closing the distance. Klaus trying his best with a VSS. Valiant dash, but it doesn't work out. NAAZ is better on it. They will confirm the elimination, destroy the UAV, and make sure more players from the side of ROFANI suffer. And Honey, the last one,
my God.
will also get taken down. And with that, it is going to be ROFANI Esports losing the 3 players at command post. Only one of their players, as I spoke about earlier, they managed to make it completely towards the northern ends of Kalahari. Therefore, ROFANI Esports will have a second go at Kalahari.
Yeah, their last player was near Bayfront. He just managed to get the res onto Klaus. So ROFANI Esports coming back one by one. However, Insidious Esports, while fighting for their lives in Refinery, will spread out. You've got Karthik holding the northwestern compound with most of the members of SINTONIA trying to come towards him, but he's landing some good shots with that Winchester. Gets the confirmation onto Immortal as well. And now SINTONIA, while they were busy chasing Insidious Esports, need to be wary because SG United have also arrived on scene. Hafiz with the cord sprays down tracks. Namu gets plucked off by Kahib midair. And SG United really put a spanner in the works of Insidious Esports, as well as their followers, as well as the people who were destroying them. Oh my god, this is such a difficult spot to get stuck in between, man. And now SG United take the launchpad themselves. They go towards the maze, where there's already 2 teams waiting. Oh, these guys definitely don't want to wait for their action now, do they? They find Kiran as well. Nothing is being left to chance. They leave no stone unturned while looking for their next fight.
They're going ahead for it, but there's also MX Esports here that they have to be worried about. The previous game was decent coming in from their end. SGU Esports now, Clutchy, he's the one closing the distance, and he's the one who's also gotten the elimination. Karthik from Insidious, they have SGU Esports surrounded. Hafiz losing his teammate, cannot do much in that position. They rushed before information. Now Hafiz is also lost. Rusher trying his best to take down Karthik. Nice shot coming through, but Clutchy picks off Hafiz. That's another elimination for MX Esports, and it seems like the maze ended up being the maze where they end up losing their players, and so do Nightmare pick the last player of Tranquility.
Oh my god, Tranquility also out. 2 teams getting destroyed in the first circle itself. Hold on, let me correct myself. 2 teams getting destroyed before the first circle even starts closing. Now that's how
It's not even 5 minutes.
It's, yeah, exactly. It's barely 4 minutes, man. And even the other teams who still have their skin in the game have lost a lot of their players. So yeah, I think that by the time we get to the final circle, it will be quite vacant. A lot of teams will end up losing their lives before we even see that 3rd circle. Once again in command post, it's Nightmare Esports versus Retired Pros. Round 2 of this fight. Earlier, ROFANI Esports had to escape from this spot, but they managed to save their skin. Now let's see if Nightmare Esports can do the same, because Shreyansh is getting rushed by Somi and Blood at the same time. Retired Pros getting their revenge, but Sallu loses his life to Red Deep from Learn From Past. So while overall Retired Pros are doing really well in command post, one of their players got picked off from Refinery by a completely different team. Back in the maze.
Right now,
Oh,
at the maze, Clutchy, he was so good. He was the one who was picking players off, but this time he's the one who gets picked off first. And MX Esports, they're now forced to return, because they did not think there was another team. They thought it was only one player who was running away from them. And Insidious, after picking off the players from SGU, after their master plan that they were able to trap them in, Insidious are still holding around the maze, want extra eliminations. UAV being used from MX, which will send Insidious actually back. They don't charge in. I'm a little surprised that this thought was taken from Insidious while they already have 5 eliminations and they've seemed better. It seems like it's a call to get back inside the circle.
yep, called to get back inside the circle. But Benz, instead of getting into the circle, he wants to get into the face of the PVS and get that high ground angle. Oh no, but now that he's been discovered, he's getting shot from both SINTONIA as well as PVS Gaming. Yeah, he's kind of regretting that high ground position now. he probably will be able to get down there without taking much damage, unless he gets one tapped. So far, nobody has an angle onto him, but he's relaying so much information to his teammates. He's spotted Immortal going towards the double floor house. He also sees that Bill 2... Oh my god, that was a risky jump. So while he's relaying that information to his team about Team Sintonio, NAAZ Esports get crushed by PBS Gaming. Krish goes down first thing. Yogesh lands the nice headshot onto Shaitan, and he gets the double by getting Agent down as well. Unfortunately, it's still not enough. Kryder comes through, and he will take down Krish and give both of his teammates a good revive. NAAZ Esports recovering really well.
What? On the other end, Benz, while he was above having that tower control, Sintonia, they decided to charge in and they end up losing a player, and Benz now backs down. Trax is out in the open, gets picked off by Shaitan, and for the mistake they made, they end up losing 2 players, but the trouble's still not done. SGU Esports there close the distance. As soon as one of the players from NAAZ gets knocked, now they have an idea about it. Boltmaker being called to try and stall SGU Esports, but it doesn't work out. Gahib finds the opening. Shaitan and Kryder, they barely have a wall over there. That is not going to help them out. Quickly with the chrono, they pull out. They get the elimination. Shaitan is now surrounded. Kryder can't do much. He still finds an opening along with Agent as he closes the distance. Make it 2. Champ is down. They're trying to bring back the game. Rusher having no vision of what's happening. Gahib, he was the one who found the first, but now he will end up taken down. The Boltmaker working in favor of NAAZ, and they will get a total of 7 eliminations. The vending machine right in front, and they instantly revive the player. And ROFANI Esports find the last player from SGU Esports, thinking they were ahead of the game. Russia going out. That's another team eliminated, and that's 8 only right now in the lobby.
Yeah, NAAZ Esports definitely must have paid attention to the elimination feed. As soon as they saw that SGU were eliminated, they must have figured that ROFANI Esports are also approaching Bayfront. Look at them so quickly moving across the other side of the road, which basically puts a lot of space between them and ROFANI Esports. But do they know that Nagi is up here on the clock tower? He's got his eyes on Shaitan. Kryder also comes up here. They are about to have a point-blank engagement. Nagi now forced to go around the other side with this one glue wall blocking his side. It's gonna be about which one of them can land the better pre-fire. And he's just trying to run around this entire tower. A single misstep could lead to him falling down. Or worse, him getting exposed to Shaitan. Finally, he's forced to get down from the high ground. But before he can even land, Nagi gets shot by Kryder. Agent goes down, electrotherapy active, Kryder still healing up. He needs to basically buy time for Agent to close in the distance against Viper and Klaus. But he tries to pre-fire in the window. Agent fails that pre-fire. And while this is happening, NAAZ Esports have gone for such a massive spread. They should be able to isolate Klaus pretty easily. Here comes Agent, lands the first shot, but Klaus with that one tap destroys Agent and brings himself another lease of life. Viper revives Nagi, and even though Klaus goes down, it's ROFANI Esports who are in a much better off position. Unless Ben has something to say about it, forces the dash, breaks the glue wall, but Klaus is the one who hits them harder. Klaus, the savior for his team, getting the 5th elimination, should be able to get Shaitan as well. The car just rams into him, and this gives Klaus the opportunity to pick up his 6th. He is a hero right now. A cape is literally fluttering from his back because he's the one keeping ROFANI Esports on top.
I agree. The way Honey played over there, brilliant stuff. Just jumping around. The vehicle might be about to be destroyed, but Agent is going to be the one who will fall. Nagi, who just got back into the game, jumped towards the shrines, will get surprised by PVS Gaming, who are also outside. They were also looking forward to a revive, and that's the reason they were all so further away. Now PVS Gaming back into the game. 6 eliminations in total. Will try to get better weaponry, get their armory updated. As you can see at shrines so further away, having a vending machine, Khonshu will use it to upgrade his equipment. But still, they have another trouble. It's going to be retired pros. By the time the stealth bites got to an end, he will still pick off Somi. Almost about to get that confirmation, but buys himself enough time. Khonshu, did he survive? He was in mid-air, but he will not. They will pick him out. Multiple players were shooting him, and it's going to be the Woodpecker from Blood, which finds, and I'm pretty sure, the elimination to follow through as well.
Oh, retired pros finally get that elimination onto Khonshu. But PVS Gaming bring him right back. They buy him back with the vending machine. But this actually gives retired pros so much information, right? Because now that they know that PVS Gaming have access to a vending machine, there's only a very few places where they could be. They see Yogesh is somewhere close to that eastern side, but the rest of PVS Gaming are all the way in command post. So retired pros just make their way into the zone from the north, and nobody's even gatekeeping them. So this is actually a pretty good entrance for RTP.
Retired pros, they make it inside the circle now. Just between the circle and play zone at a safe spot. They are sitting at a total of 8 eliminations. Closing in the distance with them is also ROFANI Esports, but we can see that retired pros as well as ROFANI, they've suffered some casualties, but the ones who looked better were NAAZ, but they are down to their last 2 players. They tried their best around the regions, around the tower. I mean, that tower battle itself that they were having for such a long while, I did not think that any teams would actually tend to it, but right now tending towards a fight is ROFANI Esports. Faiz thought he was safe and sound as he was jumping around these platforms of Refinery. Gets picked off for free. He couldn't do anything. His teammates were not close by. Honey spots a player using a vending machine, quickly jumps to get that distance and take the player down. And yes, it happens. As Patel is down, they are now closing the distance. Kiran having the Thiva advantage as the passive quickly revives his player, but it's not going to be enough as ROFANI are all around Insidious. And look at Faiz. He just got revived and will still be damaged, and I'm pretty sure knocked once again. And that's going to be Klaus doing it. Confirms it as well. Karthik trying to provide cover. Viper gets taken down, and this is an opening maybe for Insidious to get back here at Refinery.
Yeah, maybe they can finally mount a comeback. Can they actually stop ROFANI Esports? Because ROFANI Esports are all huddled up in this tiny corner. He sees where Klaus is. Honey also was about to get naded, but Klaus lands that M590 shot onto Patel, forcing Kiran to put his grenade back in the pocket, but Klaus doesn't even give him any chances to do so. Honey gets the knock onto Kiran, and it's all up to Karthik now. He should be able to grapple his way back to the vending machine, but it's a very, very risky thing to do. Lands a nice AWM shot. He will get the confirmation onto Honey as well. Both Klaus as well as Karthik are now one of the only few people in their team. Klaus trying to bring his way back into this game. Yes, he should be able to get the res onto Viper and Honey. Easy way for him to use that vending machine again, but Karthik does not have the luxury of doing so. He has no choice but to use the stealth bites and get out of here. Only 15 HP. Oh my god, he's so close to death that Yamraj himself might come down to collect him.
Time is ticking. He does make it across inside a compound. But for how long will he survive? With players already having an idea, and ROFANI, they've closed the distance, but Viper gets taken down. So again, ROFANI being forced to tend to their wounds one after another. Still, this time after that revive, they've not lost a player. 8 eliminations in total for Insidious. MX Esports, they are having a way better game compared to game number 1 and game number 2. They've made it inside the circle as well, having a platform in control. Last player from Insidious gets spotted, and even ROFANI Esports, they're getting spotted from LEARNFROMPAST, and seems like they will be troubled. Even MX are trying
MX
to pick them off.
Yeah, MX are having a wonderful time just shooting down ROFANI Esports, getting 3 players down already. But back over here towards the eastern side of the circle, Nightmare Esports have just gotten out of the warehouse, but they can't climb up the hill yet. They need to clear their backlines before doing that, and Khonshu spots 2 of them. Look at this. It's about to be a 3v4 battle over here between PVS Gaming as well as Nightmare officials. Saksham lands the first shot. Yogesh instantly goes for the trade. Siddharth retaliates. But is this enough though? Because PVS Gaming have been given way too much time to heal up their wounds. Siddharth and Shreyansh both trying to go around the other side. Siddharth nades himself. That's a massive unforced error that should not have happened. And because of that, Nightmare Esports might also get fully eliminated. NAAZ Esports also get wiped out on the other side of the zone. And that is 2 big teams falling in just a matter of seconds.
PVS, they were able to hold themselves. However, they did lose their players. 10 in total eliminations. Krish and Yogesh are the last survivors. On the other end, we spoke about MX. They're still having the platform control. Right below them is going to be Retired Pros. Retired Pros, can they do something of an opening to take them down? So far, the 4 teams right now, except for LEARNFROMPAST as well as PVS, the other 2 teams have a chance to get their very first booyah. MX Esports, they're not at all getting down from the platform. And Taxu picks Warlock. Can he get a confirmation though? So far, that's what MX have been doing. They have been picking players, knocking them down once again. This time it's going to be Reborn, but no confirmation. Learn from past, holding around the container. And now MX Esports are forced to drop down, and Warlock does the same exchange. Takshu and Clutchu trying their best, but right in front of the nozzle of retired pros' weapons, they are unable to do much. Takshu trying his best. Blood is low. Reborn gets taken down. The last man standing from MX is going to be Takshu. And with that, Learn from past also tend towards the fight with retired pros, because there was a lot of nades being tossed. One more, and Reddy knocks two of the players, with MX Esports being confirmed. Now Learn from past are closing the distance. They've already wounded the players of retired pros. Melters being used. However, Reddy and Warlock, they get knocked. This is coming in from PVS Gaming, which Learn from past never thought of. And NAAZ is the last one standing. Glue walls is all that is protecting him, but the players are already here, and as soon as the glue wall breaks, Blood puts him down. Somi now tending towards the players of PVS Gaming, but PVS, it was the only player, Yogesh, and it's going to be retired pros with the booyah. They make it work. They patch themselves and get this booyah.
Coming out of retirement only to teach the young kids how it's done. Retired pros teach everybody a lesson, and they don't need to learn from the past because they are looking to the future. Struggle, Somi, Blood, Salu, these guys were cornered, getting peppered by not just MX but also by Learn from Past, by also PVS, and despite all the teams ganging up on top of them, they hold on. I have to give credit to Somi, because it's gonna be his Thiva that keeps Struggle as well as Blood alive, and because of that massive rezzing spree, RTP had all four of their players alive in that final battle. This is why PVS Gaming thought that they had an advantage, because they saw the elimination feed and they saw so many RTP members going down, and then they realized, hey, there should be only two players alive. How are we in a 2v4? And that's when you realize that the Somi, the guy called Somi, he might just be a rusher, but I mean, he definitely was the MVP in my opinion. Yes, sure, Blood has 8 eliminations, 2,980 damage. Yes, he has the best amount of elimination and damages in this game. That's why he's called the MVP. But if you ask me, it's that res from Somi that saved the game for retired pros.
That was such a close score coming in from retired pros, especially because of the nades. Yeah, it was Blood with the Thiva and Struggle as well, but Struggle got knocked as well. And this was just a back and forth that was happening. Playing with the Shani, Nikita and Joseph. Somi pulled it off. Oscars, Whaley and Dash as well to help him out over there. And I think this was one of the best dabbles that we would want to see from players and teams to pull off, especially in such a competitive, when you saw, right, from one end it's Learn from Past, who are just throwing nades after nades, and these guys don't have a Steffi, and on the other end PVS have their snipers ready who were already troubling them, and they were able to hold their own, get those revives quickly, and that was very much necessary to shield as well. And I think Somi's shield points with the Shani itself helped him out to survive over there, get the players back up in action.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible how well these guys work as a team. And decent damage overall. It's not like one particular guy is contributing way more than anyone else, except for maybe the MVP, who obviously deserves it, right? I mean, he had 8 eliminations for a reason. 8 of the 17 eliminations came from the MVP, but retired pros almost getting a 30 bomber over here. It's still very impressive from them. PVS Gaming as well as MX Esports, both of them have 12 eliminations each, separated only by 2 placement points. Then comes ROFANI Esports, a notch above the two teams that we just mentioned, with 13 eliminations and 17 total points. And even then, they tied with Learn from Past with 17 points. Nightmare Officials get 15, and everybody else just struggling to farm points.
Let's take a look at the circle analysis and see how this booyah was pulled off. Retired pros at the sub is where they dropped, went towards Refinery, had a little bit of a struggle. They had to move back. Stone Ridge, Santa Catarina, as you can see, they're moving all around. Started from the south, moved towards the east. That's where they met PVS. I think they were the ones who troubled PVS. As you can see, they've been forcing PVS one after another, revive after revive. But I have to talk about MX Esports. I don't know how they managed to hold their fort. They held it for a very long time. Having retired pros right below them. They were the beasts in that place around Refinery, and MX Esports tried their best, but unfortunately the timing, when the circle was so small, they decided to make a jump, and Retired Pros had the advantage. Learn from Past had the advantage, and all of them shooting shots at MX Esports did not give them much of a chance, and then Retired Pros held their ground. Learn from Past, they would have had an opportunity if they charged right in when the players were knocked, but those quick revives coming in from Retired Pros gives them a jump in today's standings to the second spot directly with just 13 points of a difference. And Learn from Past, they get pushed down at 59, but the drop for ROFANI is also a little hefty because they've been dropped at 56 points, but the difference will still keep them happy because from Nightmare Official a 10-point difference, and from NAAZ Esports they're at a 21-point difference. So ROFANI Esports, even after not having a great-ish game, I would say, because they were good in those fights, unfortunately could not make it to the last circle for the fight.
Yeah, they just simply could not make it. So they should be happy considering that they're so far ahead of Nightmare Official as well as NAAZ Esports. But all the teams who are below NAAZ Esports, I'm talking about teams at the 7th and 8th spot, both MX Esports and SGU Esports are stuck at 27 points. This is after they had a decent game in Kalahari, which kind of means that in the previous two maps of Purgatory and Solara, they weren't able to accomplish much. Even Insidious had a decent game in Purgatory but could not really do much in Kalahari. Sintonia have been struggling all throughout with 17 points. And so is Tranquility. They have been struggling and they only got 12 points. But my biggest concern over here is PATTERNPLAYS. How are these guys stuck at 13 points? I thought PATTERNPLAYS would be one of those teams that is going toe-to-toe with PBS Gaming, considering all their players have so much experience. So how on earth are PATTERNPLAYS still stuck at the 11th spot? I hope that the second half of the day changes something for them.
It's a little bit of a worry right now, right? Game number 1 started off, PATTERNPLAYS seemed like they had the grip of it, but after Solara, we've barely seen them on the map itself. Anywhere we've seen action, PATTERNPLAYS are either seen or eliminated. The time we see them, they have nothing. They're just running around the map in terms of a rotation. And now to see them at the 11th spot is a surprise. Now, while Retired Pros, with Struggle being there leading that ship, we were thinking of how will this new set of players work around him, but it seems like it's working in perfection, in synonymous. Their engine is moving the right direction, but PATTERNPLAYS, even though there's Jarvis to help out Ginotra over there, it seems like they still have some issues to work around. But we cannot forget what yesterday's qualification was, how Gravity Esports managed to pull off that booyah in the very last game and made it into the top 6. So PATTERNPLAYS have to just think in that direction, that even though they're sitting at the bottom, there is still game number 4 to start things off, rewrite this whole history once again.
Yeah, technically one massive game should be enough for them to climb up, and that is why I'm not fully writing off PATTERNPLAYS yet, because one game can bring them back. However, they need to at least stop having bad games. I mean, in Kalahari, they were the first team to get wiped out, and you can't afford to have those kind of mistakes with only 3 games left to go. What's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen? Which 6 teams will make it to the group stage? Find out all about that after this tiny break. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back with the show.
Welcome back to TEZ FFMIC 2026 Fall Plains. I'm Moro. With me joining on desk is Ozora. With 3 games still left, we are still going to confirm who those top 6 teams are going to be, who will join in and become the 42 lineup who will be going towards the group stages. You know, this is far from being over. And Ozora, what are your thoughts on the previous 3 games?
My thoughts, I do not know what's happening to teams. I mean, they're having a very confident start. All of a sudden, they're pretty shaky on what just happened there. It's like the foundation has already been established. Like, they have already dug their graves very well. And they're just slowly making a bunker. And in that bunker, all of a sudden, there's something or the other going wrong. And that something or the other going wrong is not at all being adjusted. The micro adjustments are not there. PVS's team is doing amazing. They're pretty strategic. They just know that third party can give them good amount of eliminations. And whenever they head towards finishing one team, which is like the first party itself or the first point of contact, they're performing so well, Oro. And the others, even though they are gelling up, they know what's happening. They're hearing long distance shots. They're not able to function. Why is this happening?
You know, while we are talking about this, let's call in for our predictions, Ozora. And you guys can also give in your 2 cents about who the top 3 is going to be according to you guys. But for me, I think PVS is a no-brainer for now, Ozora, because they are being the super consistent ones, and I am sure that that's the reason you have picked them. And I know that why you have picked pattern plays, but I think they have to pick up really quickly. They need to change gears because only 3 games are left out. And Ginotra, I don't know what's going wrong in that lineup.
You know, Bermuda, it's a vanilla map. We all know that the strategies are going to come through from all the teams moving further in. But it's just high time, right? Game number 3, long gone. Kalahari was one of the places where I thought the snipers are going to give in a lot of support. And we did see as well, Krish, he did provide a lot of support to PVS. And the others, well, I would say the overall gist of it, every single one of them understood, but again, they could not get the maximum out of it. And that's the problem, right? Now moving in towards Bermuda, we have 5 teams heading towards peak. Oh yeah, sure. They're going to head there and let's see who's going to take the drop clash and who's going to win that. But in any which case, I'm just going to be pretty honest here that regardless of how many teams we see heading towards peak, it's always going to be how well the others are going to reach in towards the rotations as well. You see a team heading towards peak, you go towards Bhima Shakti Strip. From there on, take the zip line and reach all the way towards peak so that you can get the capitalization earlier on itself. There is a vending machine as well. So that's one of the things where most of the teams are going to camp, so that the others, if they are stranded, they are the last flag bearers, all they have to do is reach towards that spot. And every time I've seen this one pattern, that is the circle heading towards peak itself. Whether it's going to be a peak-centric game or it's going to be some other spot, let's just find it out as we head all the way towards Bermuda. And Bermuda is one of the places where most of the teams, even though they lie on their resume, they do head to peak. Game number 4, super important for all those teams who are after the 6th spot. Mass Electric, Rimnam Village. These are the 2 spots where you can head. This is the last stop. Mill being one of the places where teams, if you want to head towards earlier on itself, you can go there. And I can already see a couple of teams heading towards that direction. Nightmare. It's a good start for them. Nonetheless, I did see them. They were very confident with their fights. And well, the fight has already started. Tranquility versus Nightmare. Nightmare, oh, not at all a good initiation. Yuta, the moment he saw around the corner, he spots Shreyans, takes him down. But that Chrono Shield popped right in. That has to make some kind of a difference there. But unfortunately, it did not make anything. As 3 players, they're just rushing, bomb rushing and getting those opponents.
Yeah. I mean, Ozora, this does not look like a good start or an initiation from NMR. They eventually bring back Shreyansh, but they have to be very careful. This is an area where, of course, the numbers game can be lethal, and Tranquility, they're up for a push. Wait, Shreyansh's position has shocked literally above, and oh goodness, he fired his weaponry a little quicker. Probably the only chance he had to take one down, but he couldn't. Now Saksham is the only line of contact. But it's about time that he gets spotted and he gets eliminated. But there's a player in the vicinity. Yeah, There's another player Ozora already who's circling around, probably a third party coming in. But wait, Saksham, he's probably tries to make some inroads against Tranquility.
Rofani's one member is very curious. He just wants to see, and finally he takes the launch pad and he sends himself going. Saksham, you should have been aware. You should have been a bit more active. As Ekansh, aka Ginotra, he does not miss his shot. Good amount of decent amount of elimination, and it's a very good start nonetheless. Pattern plays, just reading the patterns of the opponents just to see where they can head towards and get those further elimination game going. Wings, he's further away from the crew, but there is 3 members who are still stacked. Wait, Anshu, can he spot the member who's away from the herd?
I mean, the player is not visible for now. He's in a different direction, but you know, for now, Pattern plays. They did manage to come here for a third party. But Tranquility, they are positioned, and Wings' position, which you were speaking about, Ozora, that's not known to them. And Anshu gets shot from, and Wings, when he takes a shot, I thought that he should have, taken one down. And that would have been a perfect flank, Ozora. Not the ideal way a flank should have been executed, but now Pattern Plays are more aware of it, and now look at how the players are moving in. And Pattern Plays, we have to remind you that they need more elimination. They need those fights to be converted in their favor, but otherwise it's going to be difficult. PVS on the other end, they're pretty comfortable. They're at the top, and they are again fighting and converting eliminations.
Oh, that's right, Nightmare. They could not do much there towards the spot where they had initially headed towards, and now they're paying the price for yet another spot. So there's no area whatsoever where they can head. They can head towards Kotatua, or they can even head towards Sentosa. These are the couple of spots where they can even reach, get those loot points, get those weaponry up, and then take a fight yet again with the teams. Because we all know the revival system, even though it's really good in this game that you can bring back your 4th member, you can bring back your entire team, but it hinders a lot overall in the experience of the game. You do not have good weapons, and that's where the problem arises. But there's another problem, which I believe Tranquility, they're gonna just take it down. Wait a second, there was a very quick adjustment there, but Anshu, he has been taken down, and that's where Ekansh also goes down. Jarvis, he's the last man standing against 3 people who are chasing him down to the end of the world. He needs to reach the vending machine, and he does, instantly bringing back the players. And even though he goes, it's all right.
Tranquility, they have been rewarded with 5 elimination points, Ozora. A good start for them, but we have to quickly jump towards Plantation, where there's not 1, not 2, I mean 3 teams are fighting it out. Right now it is Retired Pros and Shreyas. Once again, Nightmare find themselves in a spot of bother. Retired Pros, they have an advantage. Numbers game not looking strong for them. Struggle. The IGL, we know what he can provide with that Max 7 this time.
Yes.
He deletes Siddharth. Shreyas' position is already compromised. You have to look behind this.
Oh, he's spotted.
They have jumped into this fight and they want to fire. What is happening, Ozora? This looks like a PVS versus Retired Pros now, and Shreyas is just holding. But wait, he gets spotted by Khonshu, and Khonshu eliminates him immediately.
Oh, Khonshu, the Moon God, creating violent, turbulent tides in the sea and making it tough for the other teams to navigate through the map. And that's the problem being created yet again. Retired Pros, even though they think they can run away from the situation, Script, what a lovely shot coming in from Blood. But for how long can he manage to hit those shots? Max 7 in hand, and M590, it's a race to the finish line. And that's where Max 7 just breaks its own back. So Blood, he did try his level best, but PVS, they're on a different streak. Love the way SU is also pouncing in. Third party gets over, and they're here to yet again claim the spoils, and Yogesh has been claimed theirs.
Absolutely. The fight hasn't stopped yet. This is SGU, as Ozora, you were speaking. This is Khonshu and Krish we are talking about. It's a 2v3 situation for them to handle. Right now, the numbers are against them. How are they planning to hold this situation? They have no other choice than holding. They have to buy time for their teammates to come and create a support. Have the M590, but look at Khonshu, he's running away, so probably he's decided.
Lad.
Yeah, the revival has to come in by somebody, and Khonshu decided to use the stealth bite and move away from the situation. A smart move coming in from PVS, but the fight doesn't stop. We come to Mars Electric, and this time it is MX Esports fighting against NZ.
NAAZ. Well, that was a really good confirmation, but Dead Player is right there, outside, holding the fort. Blue wall surrounded and his HP is dwindling down. There you go. He did plan something very devious there, at least heading towards the vending machine. That was his idea, but unfortunately, NAAZ, they were so prepared. They kept the heavy surveillance on the opponent, and that's where the entire player, the lot of it, has crumbled right here. There's actually an X Factor on top. MX Reborn. You gotta take him out. You gotta eliminate him. And the hit list, as long as it's there, the information will be known for NAAZ.
Retired pros, Salu. Oh, wait. He, activates his stealth bites, but immediately cancels it because there's no one there, who would have spotted him. Maybe that was a plan which he thought that he should have cancelled, and that's why came back to being the normal character. But retired pros definitely will have to bring back blood. An important member from the team. And I remember what Lucifer and Crips was meaning when, Struggle was given this opportunity and responsibility. And me and you were also speaking that these players don't have to build their identity, right? And they don't have to prove anybody. Right now, they're enjoying the game, and it looks so good that retired pros are doing well and are functioning like a well-oiled machine.
That's right. But in all of that, I have no idea what's happening to STN. Sintonia. So far, whenever I've seen them, it's just near a little bit of elimination game, but no position advantage. And that is problematic overall. You need to get to at least the top 4 and sometimes, occasionally, hit the booyah to get the 12-pointer. That gives you the confidence. That gives you one of the things which most of the teams or the players are longing for. The confidence. And right now, currently sitting at the top, knowing where the opponents are, they're taking some pot shots. They're keeping some heavy surveillance as well on the opponents. But unfortunately, they just have 3 eliminations to their name. Belota, I would love to see him going ahead and clawing to get more eliminations.
Ozora, fortunately or unfortunately, the lobby has been pretty silent, and this calls for danger because you look at Bhima Shakti Strip or the center of the map right now, it's clustered and no team has been eliminated yet, and which will mean chaos while we move ahead towards the 4th stage or rather the 5th stage of the circle. But this compound has been divided by 2 teams, Sintonia on top and SGU in the bottom, and nobody's looking to engage. They're just holding for now, and we can see that PATTERNPLAYS are also in the vicinity, but one player from NAAZ, that's Agent, he connects an AC-80 shot, but where is that fight happening?
Well, divided by 2 teams, united by just one thing, that is elimination game on top. And taking the control over this very chop shop. I love the way that at the beginning itself, I did mention one thing, that if it's going to be a peak-centric map or a peak-centric circle, then most of the teams, they would be wanting to fight for that vending machine, and that's what they're doing. Peak, I can already see a couple of teams heading towards it. They're marching, they know where to head towards, but Bhima Shakti Strip has been blessed, and this team, Sinotra, they're just going to stay here, sit, and enjoy, feast upon whichever teams plan about rotating and reaching towards that area.
The good thing for both the teams who are holding that compound in Bhima Shakti Strip, the circle has favored them. But right now for retired pros, they have to fight for going inside the circle, and Shreyansh is causing problems and Struggle gets picked off. Right now, this was not the ideal outcome which they would have wanted or thought for. Somi and the other member, they will flee off. And that's the ideal movement for team retired pros because they're only left out with 2 members. NMR, they have a clear path. Now Clock Tower feels to be pretty much empty. They can make their rotation pretty comfortably. But Insidious is waiting for PVS. PVS, they have been very strong in those gunfights. We were praising them, right, when we were behind the scenes. And right now they have their up front.
Bouncing there like leopards, but it's just the nades that are going to do heavy damage. One member already taken down, Yogesh, and the others to follow. Wait a second, Kiran just got taken down, and that's the instant revival. PBS yet again having a very nice opportunity to fight back, and they do valiantly. Irrespective of where the opponents are hiding, whether it be a bush, whether it be a tree, it's PBS's game all across, keeping an eye and knowing that even though their one member has fallen down, it doesn't matter. They still have the confidence game running in their pocket. Bhima Shakti Strip completely contested now, and right in front is INS's Karthik. and he's trying to run away for his dear life, and he's been spotted.
Oh no, they even spot out retired pros. And now they have to deal with Insidious and also from PVS. Now, Kick can be sandwiched at any point of time, Ozora. This is not looking good, and how will Struggle deal with this? He gets shot at. The A124 is there. The thrill of battles can be utilized at any moment. But for how long is the question? Oh, he gets spotted by Karthik. His head getting broken off by blood. He gets taken down and immediately picked up. Struggle decides to move away, but the vehicle destroyed. It's almost on the verge of getting destroyed, Ozora. It's out in the open. He gets caught off guard by Karthik once again. And retired pros are falling like matchsticks, Ozora. This is not looking good for them, but PVS, they're pretty much aware of the situation. How are they planning to deal with it?
Oh, they're just going to send in the flank. I have a very strong feeling. Khonshu, lovely readjustment right coming through. And Karthik, he's been bewildered. He's like, what just happened here? I just saw an opponent right in front and now he's not there. All right, it's all right. It's okay. It's a one and done weapon. The moment he spots the head of the opponent, he's long gone. That shot needs to connect. There you go. The 4 members all close by, and Fayaz, they need to play it super accurately. Else, the team is going to be taken down, robbed of the entire part of getting the eliminations on the opponent, which is PVS. Insidious currently sitting ducks. They're just trying to see where the opponents are going to rotate towards. And that's the kind of weight game that they're going to play.
Circle is not far away from both the teams. But, I mean, Insidious, they know that they have to block PVS. But they cannot waste too much time as well. You look at the circle, it's on Bhima Shakti strip. They have to climb the hill. Karthik, he's going to be the important man. He has to create those, important knocks for his team. Now PVS are stuck below. They don't have that opening yet. And they have to move out as well. And look at retired pros. There's still one member who's just waiting to create problems, and that's Sallu09. What will Sallu decide? I think that's going to be problems for PVS. But Khonshu, he fights it out with Karthik, and he's the main man being taken out. And the flank you were talking about, they were not prepared for. And PVS will literally throw out Insidious right now, and they have eliminated in no time. They were up on top, and they eliminated them.
Oh my god, Khonshu, all the credits. He deserves it all. That was a lovely execution, and now heading all the way towards what's happening at the mansion. Well, pattern plays, they're understanding the opponent's patterns, getting the eliminations, getting those knocked, and eliminating NAAZ as well. NAAZ Esports, they're not gonna like what just happened to them in the map of Bermuda. And well, as long as this happens, it's always gonna break down the confidence as well. And finally, I can see this team shining, knowing where the opponents are rotating towards, and SINTONIA, they're just keeping a very nice lookout for more elimination points. This is the benefit of reaching towards the circle and calling it yours soon.
ROFANI was stuck in the corner. I don't know how will they manage to get inside the circle, but right now Shanks is also stuck. But Krish, he gets spotted, and that's Tranquility Wings who did manage to trouble him, but Shanks also gets spotted, and he also gets picked up by Gahib from SGU. So many different angles are open right now, and everybody is getting shot from different angles, and that is what I was calling for, because the chaos has started, right? Because 10 teams are still surviving. I don't know how, because there is no real estate left out, and already the only solo compound inside the circle is getting dominated by 2 teams, which was already decided between SGU and SINTONIA, right? They have signed a peace treaty up until they find only those 2 teams surviving for the last circle.
Yeah, in order to reach towards the tippy top, you need to have a launch pad. And that's the reason SGU is not taking any battle whatsoever. But all of that apart, the heavy hitters are already long gone. It's just PVS remained with a double digit on their name. And so far, they're performing so valiantly. The others, even though they're going to call in for a rotation, Krish has been taken down. And Tranquility, good shots been fired, but it's Belota finally clawing to get those elimination points on his name. Yuta knocked to the ground, and the others, they're going to trickle down. But it is LFP who's doing the heavy lifting right there. Learn from past, they're learning from the mistakes, and they're getting those elimination points. It's super important to nullify teams because it's a very small circle, like you rightly mentioned there, Oro.
I mean, look at the chaos. ROFANI is there holding the compound. Retired pro Sallu has somehow managed to come inside the circle. Wow, LEFP, they are firing all cylinders onto SINTONIA. Belota, he gets picked off. Right
now Sintonia have to fight with PVS. PVS is inside the compound. Yogesh finds
Oh,
two,
boy.
and the fight is not over yet, but
Oh!
completely shatters PVS there, and Kahib survives barely, and he gets picked off by Honey, and PVS and
It's
SGU
LFP.
both eliminated Ozora.
It is LFP's game all the way. They were already there towards the circle, noticing all of the shenanigans from these teams, and now that Sintonia, they have planned to head towards the waters, towards the ground. It's going to be lava all across. SGU, well, they have been eliminated, and learn from past. So far, they are the healthy lads. 4 members still alive, and Rofani, regardless of what they're doing, they're going to be punished real soon, as the eyes are all on them, and claws, regardless, irrespective, they're just trying to make mountains in order to rotate, and they're rotating right in, but the HP is dwindling down, putting in the healing UAV. They're trying to force the entrance of the opponents towards them, but it's not going to happen that soon. Learn from past, they're taking it pretty slow, even though the HP is dwindling down for them as well.
At this very moment, Sintonia, what are they thinking? Only 2 players surviving, Namu and Immortal. They're down the ground, and they just hope that LEFP pushes onto Rofani, because that's where the numbers game are playing around. Immortal and Namu, they have 7 elimination points onto their team's name, and it's NRZ who finds
finally.
claws there. Rofani fighting it out against LEFP and Reddy, and NRZ, they're taking the fight. Reddy, he completely shatters the dream, and LEFP onto Sintonia. It's a 4v2 situation. Reddy putting on those glue walls, creating that distance, closing down to those 2 players. And who's going to be from LEFP, or is it going to be Sintonia who converts this into a booyah, right, Ozora?
Oh my god, the healing, it is going on, but I don't think so. It can long for a longer time, as there's another member from the backlines who will take the entire team down and learn from past. My, oh my. What a lovely performance coming from their end. Calling in that one corner of the circle, which was uncontested by each and every one of them, thinking that the house is going to be their final fortification, the final part of this entire mystery. Where learn from past, they kept themselves very composed, and this is the kind of game that they've already created. It was towards the final circles that they got 13 eliminations and 12 placement points, total of 25 points.
No, have to give credit to Reddy. I mean, when those glue walls went off, it was free eliminations for him alongside NRZ. But LEFP knew it all the way along that there was no match against Sintonia, right? It was 2v4 against him. They had the numbers advantage, but look at Warlock. I mean, literally 5 eliminations onto him. He was the one who converted a 1v3 with that AUG. I mean, I'm quite sure that he wouldn't have required the Chrono Shield, because the way he was firing, we did not have the exact POV, but we knew that they were hiding behind that mobile tower, and they blocked off so many teams who was trying to rotate inside that Bhima Shakti strip. And that's how Warlock and LEFP control the maximum area. And we always say or praise teams who control the maximum space in the last circle, and they end up getting the booyah, right? We've seen it so many times. And again, we have to give credits to LEFP that this was his second booyah.
Well, I would say one thing, Warlock, do not be sad about the damage. Absolutely do not be sad. Because it's at the end, it's about the elimination game. It's about getting the booyah nonetheless. And Dorado, he was on the flank all this time. And Sintonia, they thought that they can at least survive the wrath of the opponents, get a player or two, get those eliminations. But no, says the entire team. And, well, the control game was so good that NRZ and Warlock, they were just steadfast. They kept running forward, placing the glue walls, and then they were just closing in the gaps. So the close quarter battles with the M590 will be a smoke and mirror for them. Reddy, like you rightly mentioned, those nades were bounced on the opponents, and it was just a nuke field nonetheless. Learn from past, 25 total points that they have received. SGU, well, they have received 20 as well. 13 eliminations on their name. PVS Gaming, well, all thanks to the saloon shenanigans, they were picked right off by SGU, but SGU, they paid a hefty price there. A couple of players, they were already knocked, and the one last survivor, he thought about healing himself, and he also thought about heading towards a circle, which could not be remotely possible.
I mean, the problem still lies in the bottom half, right? Sintonia, even though they managed a good game, only 16 points, but while we are still getting prepared for today's standings, we still know that Sintonia has to put up a better show than this. And look at Pattern Plays. With only 6 points, what do you expect from them, right, Ozora? They haven't had a best of the runs in the previous 3 games, and we thought that probably the second half would bring in some new luck. But no, the answer was pretty much flat again.
Oh, yeah. And I'm hoping that they do not take out the Stepney and be like, yeah, this is going to be one of the key saviors for us. The Stepney being the sub, of course, you cannot go ahead and keep rotating in the midst itself. And in which case, jokes apart, moving in towards this first circle itself, we could see SGU being very aggressive. 6 eliminations right off the go. And then later on, you see, look at the isolation. Learn from past, second and third circle, Sintonia, ROFANI, every single one of them went silent, absolute silence until the very end when they saw the players rotating inside the compound, and the moment they thought that these folks are the threat, let's take them down, that's when the eliminations came right in.
Absolutely. I mean, have to give credit to how LEFP, bulldozed their way in. I wouldn't say that everything was in control for them, but learn from past. They fought their way, they got those elimination points, and definitely they have climbed up the ladder. They were at the 3rd position before this game ended, and now they have climbed up to the 2nd position. They have 84 points, but look at PVS. They're still comfortable after the 4 games are done. They have only 1 booyah, but with 96 points. But we don't have problems with the first 3 teams or the 4 teams. It's the problem, which down in the 5th position, the 6th position, Ozora. SGU performing, Insidious performing right now, but the difference is getting bigger and bigger.
And teams are getting ambitious as well, which I'm very happy about. Trust me, all this time I was just expecting that there's going to be intense action coming in, and first 3 games we were all completely in awe that wait a second, we were expecting something more. So that expectations versus reality just stung us a lot, and overall I'm just expecting from here on that 5th 6th spot, it's already contested way too much, 47 total points from both the end, which is NAAZ alongside SGU. So that's where I would see how well SGU is going to perform, because SGU's performance needs to come through if they want to qualify. Else, we have already seen the first spot, which is not at all a question for bother for PVS, as they can easily secure their spot. But talking about the prediction and talking to you guys as well about the prediction, go ahead and give yours, as ours is already given there. NAAZ, I'm going to go for them for the first primary spot, and then Tranquility alongside Pattern Plays, because Pattern Plays, I did see that they're just getting on the move, they're just getting to know the entire lobby better, but I hope that it's not at all late.
Yeah. With only 2 games left out, Ozora, I don't think they have any other option. They have to pick up those fights. They have to probably, have those early initial movements where they're clashing. And otherwise, I don't think there is any other option left. Let's have a look at the game schedule. What's the next upcoming match? Because we know for a fact that the 6th match will be a randomizer. We don't know what's the map there. But for sure, we know that the 5th game is going to be played on Nextera. And as we always say, that this is a map where we, end up seeing the bigger numbers being converted. And we have seen it in the past, in this Plains itself, where yesterday Gravity Esports converted a booyah in the very last game and made sure that they qualify. And also similar for AD Zippets, who also qualified by getting 40 points in 1 game. And I feel that Pattern Plays can still do it, and that is why we have given it in our prediction list, but you guys can do it as Ozora mentioned. But this is the preferred drop spot, and I don't believe it, because Deca Square is empty. Because the last time I saw Nextera, Deca Square was the heated spot.
Oh yeah, everyone loves to go ahead and check the sci-fi theme that's there in this map, right? You can head towards those teleporters, and Deca Square, usually people contest it because of that itself, right? They just love the portals, they love to teleport, have some fun around in this map, and not at all care about getting those eliminations, and not at all care about where the vending machine is at all. Mud site as well, not at all contested. Man, come on. You guys are just dropping the ball and just saying that, okay, we're just bluffing, right?
I mean, see, we have made it pretty sure and clear that how PATTERNPLAYS should approach the game. But I think it's very clear for all the other teams as well who want to qualify, because this is the last group. We have to say that. And after this, we will end up seeing the 42 teams who are qualifying for the group stages. Finally, this is coming to an end, and we will witness those 42 teams. And definitely there are, more teams who will be joined by them. That is the top 6 teams from the grand finals from TEZ FFMIC 2026 Spring. That's going to be a hell of a ride, because Plains is so fun. I can't even imagine what those group matches or the group stages would bring in, right, Ozora?
Oh, wait. I have a very quick game for the audience. Quick memory check. Who were the first 6 teams who were qualified on day 1?
First 6 teams. That's a
Let me have it with you itself, Oro. I didn't name them.
I mean, I can tell you that Team Elite was the first, because they had
there you
142 points. And, Tufani could not qualify because they were the only team, or rather the only team from the city qualifiers who haven't made it. But we have 2 teams playing today, the PVS Gaming and also NAAZ. And they are right now at the very spot, PVS right on top and NAAZ on the 6th spot. They are literally sandwiching the other teams. So I just hope that, all the city qualifier teams have made their way, except for Tufani. They cannot, redo what they have done. But these 2 teams can do it. These 2 teams can qualify for the group stages. And, since, you have already mentioned about Group A, but this is the last 2 games and the upcoming game is on Nextera. This is the 5th game. Let's see what this game is going to pull in for us.
Well, I do not know about pulling or pushing, but it's for sure going to push a lot of teams towards the very end of the map, saying that it's either you qualify or you die. It's one step. One of their feet are already there in the grave and the other one on the banana peel, so you don't know what's good or what's bad for them. But in which case, the flight path, Motor Ruins all the way heading towards the Grav Lab, where you can feel a lot of anti-gravity theme there. So keep jumping around and getting those connections on the opponents and get those eliminations as well. Getting the earlier initiation or the skirmish on point is super important, and teams are heading towards that very spot.
Oh, Farmtopia is empty, and we can see 2 teams going towards Museum, which is Sintonia and MX Esports. There's a fight, there's a gun game which can happen there, but look at Learn from Past. Right now, do they have company right now? I don't think so. I don't see any teams around them. But it is Insidious, Kiran, who has already been taken down, Ozora.
Well, there was one thing. Reddy, even though he could have taken a very default path, he could have gone around from that teleporter, but he still chose to take the teleporter. Why? You see, the question why is because he wants to enjoy that theme.
Why not? That's a part which you can use, but if trouble comes by, I mean, very sure, but right now trouble for Sintonia. They had a gunfight, they're taking it, and they had just had a good match. Ozora, they got 16 points and they get eliminated in 12th spot. I mean, this contrast and this inconsistency has not helped their position and the cause. They get eliminated and they are only left out with 1 solo game, which is going to happen on a random map, which we don't know for yet.
Yeah, just because it's Museum, you do not have to be like, alright, let me just go ahead and make a specimen out of my own gameplay. Not at all. Just take it slow. Understand what's happening there, as majority of the teams, they did plan on getting a rush or get some eliminations against NAAZ, where ROFANI, a bit too antsy there. At least the confirmation could have waited. He could have at least done some damage on the opponent, but well. There is PVS Gaming right around the corner, and they would love to go ahead and take a piece of this pie.
I mean, INS, the fight hasn't stopped for them yet. Shaitan is wanting to find out where Fayaz is. And Insidious, if we see them, and how their performance have been, oh wait, I see PVS Gaming there on the rooftop, and they are the one creating problems for all the teams inside this compound. And Patel gets spotted, even though he had a cord, but it was Khonshu with his cord who got the knockout. And Fayaz, he also gets peppered. And Khonshu is not stopping, he's continuously spamming those shots against INS. And the problem is INS cannot move out, because this is the initial phase and they don't have enough blue walls to support their cause right now.
Oh boy, Trouble's Paradise, both of them walking Falcons. Oh my
Yogesh.
goodness, I won't be surprised if this entire team is gone. Yep, they're
gone.
completely wiped clean from the map of next era, but early eliminations, early skirmishes where Benz, he's stuck with his McLaren and his McLaren goes boom. His HP way too low and these shots following up by PBS Gaming is supreme. And they're just like so consistent right from the word go, getting 6 eliminations. That's super important regardless of Krish falling down. It's all right. They still have a really good game going on for themselves. That's an instant push coming in, and there you go, tit for tat, eye for an eye, and Shaitan goes down.
Wow, I mean, I saw Conchu with that cord, right? Now Script also has a cord. Probably, did he shift the
It's a
weaponry?
family of cords.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is holding this spot right now. Benz is out in the open. Now he's spotted. Wait, Script, doesn't he spot him yet? Or is he...
He's already told Yogesh to run.
Yeah, Yogesh is running in that direction. PVS already with 7 eliminations. They're looking for more. They've crossed the 100-pointer. And US, speaking about consistency, you know, they have always been the consistent one, right? Last time around, they qualified from city qualifiers. Again, this time they qualified from the city qualifiers.
yeah.
And that too from the similar city, right? Where there's a fight brewing again in Decca Square with this is SGU against Learn from Past. And there's MX Esports in the mix as well. And this is up for chaos, Ozora.
Yes, you good shots being channeled right there, and Tax, he's running around trying to pay a hefty price, and he somehow puts in one of the members, plugs him back into the game, and Russia from a far off angle, he had known where the whereabouts are of the opponent, but finally he's been taken down. That's a lovely repositioning coming in, but an instant revival nonetheless. SGU, they were prepared and they knew that this is the primary spot to be contested as the vending machine was very close to them.
You know,
Well-
if I... Ozora, just look at your right. SGU have climbed up. NAAZ has been dethroned.
Oh,
This is not
yes.
looking good for them. You know, a number of eliminations are climbing higher for SGU, and so is SGU. So NAAZ have to be very careful about their approach as well. As we see a fight between SGU and PATTERNPLAYS brewing, where Hitman, he climbed up and he took down one player from SGU. Now it's a recovery time for SGU, where Gahib, he has the cord in his hand. And we have seen the players with cord for now have dominated the lobby.
Oh yes, domination on point, but Saksham, HP way too low. Zakir, I do not know how good he is with his words, but his weapon, it is definitely doing a lot of talking. Oh, wait a second, Shovik. Was that a crowd spam that I just saw? I hope not.
TRANQUILITY already. They have 5. Learn from past getting eliminated. Ooh, Zora. This will mean the floodgates have opened for the other teams, right? For
Yep.
example, retired pros or a Rofani or an NMR, they would eye onto that spot. Saksham, he's out in the open. The car 98 for Utah. What wait? He misses. And Saksham connects the headshot, but the revival immediately comes in from Zakir. But the repositioning coming in quickly from Saksham, but NMR, he's alone. Saksham, what will he do? He's getting surrounded. And then Shovik, who's also surrounding him. But there is one player who can... Oh no. He doesn't get any help. He was out in the open and he gets picked off pretty quickly.
Wings for now has been clipped for TRANQUILITY. I don't think so it's going to be a place of bother for them. But on the other end, RTP. Oh, retired pros, they've been taken down. So, okay. You were talking about the second spot being wide open. Absolutely. Now it's third, fourth. All of these spots can keep changing because the teams are still alive. Rofani, they're on to a very good start. And for now, they have a hit list on as well to eliminate Russia from SGU. And SGU is pretty close. So might as well know their whereabouts, know what's going to happen next, because the nade parade is going to begin real soon. Honey, lovely nade being lobbed right at the opponents, but they're not backing off. Gloss, he's just running further and further deep down. He knows that he can win those fights against SGU. Champ and Gaib, both of them just waiting there, trying to stay alive, but for how long? If you heal there, you're going to be taken down, you're going to be punished. And Hafiz, he's running away. That's a daylight robbery which has been stopped, and Hafiz, his HP is low. He's running for his dear life, and the shots, they haven't connected just yet. With the twinkle of his HP, he's still there. And Hafiz, I do not know what just happened there, but I believe he's been taken apart, and SGU completely annihilated. Rofani, They are putting up a really good show and we are just absolutely loving it.
I see a lot of empty spaces. What has this next era done to these teams? Only 6 teams are left out. You know, while we were spectating Bermuda, Ozora, it was 12 teams all the way to the end. And right now, it's only the second phase, which we can say, frankly, that this is the first or the initial phases where teams are trying to build or reposition or rotate. And now we are only left out with 6 teams. PVS, they're at the top, no problems for them. Retired pros, they can already, feel that they can get that to second position or maybe climb up and close out the difference between them and PVS. But look at MX, look at PATTERNPLAYS. This is the perfect opportunity for them. But the only problem is, if they fight against a team, will they get enough number of eliminations to climb up? Because the difference is a big one.
They're racking it up. They already have 9 eliminations. I do not know whether the drop was contested or not, whether they've taken already the level 5 helmet and vest. But if they have, then it's a really, really good thing for the end circles and the end fights. So basically, you're just going to be tanking a lot of damage from the opponents. And Clutchy, the entire team of MX, they're going to launch themselves to eternity. All right, Deca Squared. Yet again, we were talking about this place being completely empty at the beginning when we saw where the teams are going to head towards. And now look at it. It's the breeding ground for getting more eliminations.
Yeah, it is NAAZ who's fighting against PVS and Krish and Yogesh. They're picking up those players, and NAAZ, if they get eliminated, look at MX, they're at 45. If they convert this game into a booyah, and we can expect that if they're able to convert few more eliminations, that spot is definitely going to be concerning. So NAAZ and NMR, they have to play this out very carefully. While 2 players are still surviving for NAAZ, they should go in for that revive. But this time around, this is MX Esports who are probably closing in towards PATTERNPLAYS, who also needs a booyah. They have to start somewhere. Probably this might be the game, because this is the second last one. After this game, you will only be left out with the one single game which is going to happen on a random map which you don't have any information about. But PATTERNPLAYS locking horns against MX as expected. Where does the first knock comes out from?
Oh no, this is really bad. Oro, this is absolutely bad because the circle is going to head all the way towards Deca Square, and if you contest these buildings already, then it's really good for you. But then if you come later on towards the circle and reach towards this house, then it's going to be problem for you to at least take away that one team who's already there inside the vicinity. So problem, call your realtor right now and ask which is the nearest house that you can buy right about now.
MX, they haven't taken any shot yet. Reborn, he has the information that probably there is one player behind that glue wall. He breaks it off with his AWM. No one spotted. But both these teams have to be very careful while they are fighting. On the far end, there's NMR and ROFANI who can hear these shots. Probably they can come in and chip in. While we see those 2 teams are fighting against each other. Oh, I mean, there's a different storyline building there. So, yeah, that's great. Oh, wait, I was talking about a different team and another team finds 1 elimination. That's PVS. But wait, the fight has already started here, Ozora.
Oh! Wait, that's a blow for a blow, eye for an eye. That was a lovely initiation coming in. Hurry! He somehow is the last member standing. Again and again, I see this dude. He's alive. He's trying to support his team. And there you go, jumping around, twirling, twisting, getting yet another knock in the other. Where is the other member of Nightmare? He's still outside the circle, not able to provide any cover whatsoever. He's busy healing himself. And ROFANI with 14 eliminations and right now inside the circle. They're going to be super happy about it, but they need these team members back again into the picture. Dinoculus, just to see where to rotate towards, and there is a UAV as well being deployed. Honey, this dude is such a valiant rusher, and the team is absolutely loving the top-notch performance that he's providing. And Shanks, he's the last member standing, and soon he's going to be hunted down.
Absolutely. And both the teams have been very smart. MX and PATTERNPLAYS, they knew it, that this is the center, this is the point center of the map, and we need not fight it right now. We can fight it later on, but the problem is they're fighting against the scoreboard, Ozora. And while you're doing that, you need those numbers to be raked up, which you were quite frankly pointing it out, that if they're not able to do it, even if they convert it into a booyah, they will still fail. And if you want to be inside the top 6, if you get a booyah and you get a good match, PVS is sorted. PVS doesn't have any problem.
But PVS, they're looking to latch on to that last member from NMR, which is Saksham. He's spotted and he's running for his life right now. Viper from the other end. He spots out a player from MX Esports who's right in the center. And NMR, as expected, they get eliminated because Saksham was spotted by PVS and it was Script. He makes no mistake.
All you have to do is head towards the tents, which is openly present there towards the Deca Square. Finally, NAAZ, they have understood the assignment. They reached there, and now they can call it their own safe haven. They're safe for now, but soon PATTERNPLAYS might understand this pattern as well of the opponents. ROFANI, they're right in front. ROFANI, they're pretty accurate upon where the opponents can be, but they need to win those fights. And PBS, they have already third party at this location, but at the end, they're paying a hefty price as they need to head towards the circle alongside the vicinity, which is already ROFANI's name.
Zora, PVS can spoil everything for ROFANI and MX and also for PATTERNPLAYS, because see, the amount of eliminations they are going to get, they're just going to make it difficult for the other teams, because the other teams, they need numbers. ROFANI dangling at that 6th spot, and PVS, they're hungry. They are, they need more elimination points. Look at the number. They already have 18. They've climbed up to 120. ROFANI, wait, they're at the 2nd spot. It's NAAZ who is at the 6th position with 64, but ROFANI, they're locking horns against PVS. They're being shot from MX and also from PP, which is PATTERNPLAYS. Taksu is routed right in the open. Yogesh gets picked off by Clutchy and he gets eliminated. Now PVS, MX, they only have 2 players. Khonshu gets picked off. Script is the lone survivor. MX, they can clutch it against PVS. They will be out and they can fight it out against the other 2 teams. Khonshu, he makes sure that Script is back, and now the fight is wide open.
That's right. And ROFANI, they're just eyeing for those 2 points. They're forgetting that the bigger picture is heading towards the circle. And once the circle starts moving, the shrink shifter comes in play, then it's yet again going to be problematic. PVS, they're left outside in the wilderness, and that's where MX, they're just landing those punches on point. And wait a minute. Where is PATTERNPLAYS? What can they do? But the one nade just takes away the fate of MX. It's like they never existed in this map ever after that nade.
Devil Shaitan is alive right now. They have the best spot. Look at PATTERNPLAYS. They're fighting against PVS. PVS have gone out of the picture, and NAAZ, they rush onto PATTERNPLAYS. Anshu barely surviving. He gets picked off. It's a 4v3 against ROFANI. ROFANI, they are dealing with it right now. Honey, Viper goes down. It's Grider who gets the elimination. Nagi goes out as well. Honey is fighting against 4 members. He gets picked off as well. And this is NAAZ. Make no mistake, they convert this game, and the team who qualified from Jaipur City qualifiers, they would be proud of this performance because they have converted the very important game where they needed these points, Ozora.
The literal translation of NAAZ is to be proud, and for sure they're going to be proud of taking that decision to head all the way towards the back lines of PATTERNPLAYS. What a lovely performance coming in from each and every one of them, and that nade that was lobbed right at the opponent was the undoing for many. This was the place where they just understood it's going to be a huge cluster, and look at Agent. Oh my goodness. One nade and it just undoes a lot of things. And well, Honey, he tried his level best, even though we have seen him multiple times that he is the savior, almighty of the team. Just could not do much there. All right, finally seeing a different pet there, Yeti. And 10 eliminations on the name of Shaitan. Man, oh man, this dude has been popping off from every corner with that M590.
Yeah, 10 eliminations, even though it was Agent who did the damage, right, with that grenade. Of course, he is the bomber for the team, so of course that is expected from him. But Shaitan, he has not disappointed. He was the one who converted those big numbers. And you look at the other 3, Agent, he had Koda, he had Beaston and Alavero, so it was no surprise that with that nade, he made sure not 1, not 2, not 3, the whole team got wiped out, and MX's dream to climb up the ladder was taken away by this man. And while these players shape up for the last game, I am quite sure that NAAZ would be very proud of what they pulled in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 ways to tackle down or even make the opponent's Grenadier a mute point. It's either you get Steffi, Graffiti's Blessing, or you get the Yeti. Correct. You see how it is? Steffi or Yeti? Because Yeti just gives you like a you can take less amount of damage compared to how much it initially gives. The nades when it just bombards on you, it's problematic, and that's what Shaitan, he's like, I'm gonna address to the problem. And the way he has addressed it, 12 knocks with over 5,288 damage is crazy. Benz was just like a dude walking around, seeing where the opponents are, and the heavy lifting was done by these two rushers alongside Agent.
You know, the analogy you explained, Ozora, the problem is the virus is being spreaded by his own teammate, right? And he has the antidote. I mean, so it should have been passed on to the other team. For sure, they missed out the memo, but NAAZ, they have converted this game into a big one with 31 points. You know, they were at the 6th spot. I don't know how much or how big the jump is going to be, but PVS, they have been the absolute consistent one. Once again, you know, they have 25 points, but ROFANI, they also do it. They have also been consistent alongside PVS Gaming. They were at the 2nd spot, but the rest of the teams, they got eliminated so early, right? We were speaking about what PATTERNPLAYS can do, even though PATTERNPLAYS survived till the very end, but they end up with only 15, and it has been that kind of a day for PATTERNPLAYS where nothing has been working for them.
Oh, that's true, man. SU 11, PATTERNPLAYS 15, TRANQUILITY 10. Well, I was expecting more from them, but unfortunately those third parties or the initial point of contact itself was not at all well done from their end. MX, well, they kept rotating, man. I just love the way they just put in all those steps, reaching towards Deca Square, knowing that this is going to be a Deca Square circle. They went all the way towards Zipway as well. Oh, you see that? That's the kind of understanding that they've already showcased in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we saw it coming, right, Ozora? We saw how PATTERNPLAYS and MX were holding it for the longest time, and they have identified that the boxing gym compound will be the right center, and they were playing it out very carefully. But they had to understand that how it was shaping up for NAAZ, right? But it was NAAZ all the way along, and they had the maximum number of eliminations in the 5th circle, and make no doubt, the Agent was one of them who got 4 out of those 8, right? With that name, and we have to speak about him highly. But we have to watch out for the standings, Ozora. That's where things are going to dismantle. Whoa.
Oh, well,
Oh,
PVS
no.
Gaming, no surprise there, 121 points, did not even move an inch, not even second, they're not even 0th. It's just the prime 1st spot. ROFANI on the other end, they have for sure toppled down a couple of teams, reaching towards the 2nd spot. Learn from past, they need to learn from Nextera, because in the next following one, if they remove themselves, then it's going to be problematic. NAAZ Esports 78 upping their ante by 2 positions. Retired Pros down by 2 with just 78, and look at the way the to and fro competition is going on. 78. Nightmare, they're at 64, and SGU yet again so close yet so far.
I mean, while you were explaining about who has climbed on to which spot, I was looking at which team has still the possibility. I am looking at MX Esports and SGU. They still have that possibility, right? And even I think MX Esports, they would also want to eye on to that 6th spot, because the difference probably is big for MX. They would require a 35 point or a 40 point a game, and have to expect that, you know, Retired Pros or a Nightmare gets eliminated immediately. But while we talk about this, we have to talk about our top 3 prediction and learn from past. They did not have a beautiful game in the last match. They got eliminated or plucked pretty early, but I just hope that they end well, because PVS is doing it pretty comfortable, and so is Retired Pros.
I mean, each and every one of them who's vouching for the team, they will be sitting just like this, like the way I'm sitting right now. Fingers crossed, nothing should go wrong as the game schedule showcases. It is the randomizer. It can be anything. It can be Solara, it can be Purgatory, it can be Kalahari, it can be Bermuda, it can be Nextera as well.
Yeah.
So game number 6, I want to know your guesses, Oro.
I mean, let's have a look at it. What's going to be?
Faster.
For Bermuda, Kalahari, Purgatory, Nextera. I mean, I have called out for all the memos. Solara was left out, so I have mentioned Solara, and it is going to be Solara, Ozora.
You defeat the purpose of me asking you the question, whether it's which map is it going to be, and you're like, oh, let me just guess all of them, yeah?
I didn't want to answer. That's a simple answer. That's okay. We have 30 seconds before we jump on to Solara, and now everybody knows what the score which is required and how they're going to meet the cause, and be responsible enough and be there at the top 6 spots. So this is going to be your last chance before you can even try for that spot or eye for that group stage, because if this is done, you cannot do it And this is where your dream ends for these FFMIC
yeah.
2026 fall, Azora.
A big sad. It's going to be a big sad because all this time the teams have been struggling. They have been performing. They have been putting aside everything that's going on in their life and then just focusing on one thing, that is Free Fire Max and qualifying towards TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2026 fall. And to do all of that requires relentless struggle, relentless confidence as well. And that's where I would say this is the final game. Irrespective of what happens from here on, I'm extremely happy for all the teams who have participated in this tournament.
I'm scared right now, Azora, because NMR, they're fighting against ROFANI. It's a gunfight in Delta Isle. NMR, they are at the 6th spot. ROFANI, they don't have a problem. They're at the 2nd spot. So if NMR goes out, everybody would be happy. SGU, they will be smiling right now. MX Esports, they should be smiling if that happens. But for that to happen, ROFANI has to win. And Saksham, he has a double vector. He would want to eye on to that. And he definitely will be the one who finds one knock. Claus also gets down. And
No
ROFANI,
way.
not a good start.
Honey?
Honey, he's hiding. He's waiting. Saksham, will he be able to find the timing, or Honey will be the one who going to bamboozle him? Right now, NMR moves out of the compound and Honey waits.
Oh no, Saksham is coming back. He knows there's something fishy. Where is Honey? This dude was popping all around in the elimination feed, and Saksham, pan in hand, you better have the double
he
vector,
knows.
and there you go. He knows where the opponent is. Honey versus Saksham, and he's calling in for backup as well. He knows that this is the moment where they need to shine, and there you go. The paths cross, and the path has been crossed completely with an X mark for this one player. Could not do much there. And SCN, well, I can see them. They're eyeing for that 1 point, which is Hitman 11.
Yup.
And PATTERNPLAYS, again, not a good start for them. Probably, Akansh Ginotra fans would be disappointed with what happened with PATTERNPLAYS. But, again, this is a learning curve for all these teams out there. They are the experienced ones. It was not their day. Even if they convert this game into a booyah, they would require more than something, ambitious, which is around 45 or 50 points to climb up that ladder and be there at top 6 spot, which is practically not possible. Right now, NAAZ Shaitan is fighting against Reborn, and he gets caught off guard. He didn't know what was there outside. And it was Shaitan waiting, and again, NAAZ and Shaitan, these boys start up so well.
That's right, SGU, they're close by itself. Rusher right behind, but Shaitan this time, he's been caught off guard. Agent, even though his support was really good, but he needs to take a different battle altogether. Take down Champ, and he does! He does valiantly! He needs to run away from this area right about now. Confirm that elimination as SGU, they are busy confirming bodies after bodies. Bag him and tag him. Agent sticking around, trying to at least create some kind of void, buy time for that one member who's running away to save the entire team. Benz, he's always been the flag bearer, an agent. We have seen him in the previous game, currently just popping the stealth bite. Benz, he's running away from that tuk-tuk. There you go, that's the kind of call out that they needed. And well, Agent buying yet another more time.
NAAZ shouldn't be too greedy here. They have to fall back for now. They have to understand that, even though their position looks solid, but anything can happen. This is the last game. And right now, Sintonia, they're picking up eliminations. Tranquility being peppered. And this is INS, Insidious, Patel. He has that MP5 in his hand. And he's chasing Wings, which probably was doing a revive there. And he is successful. Even though if he falls, he should be happy that he was able to bring back the members, which he needed to.
But he just had level 2, man. Imagine him having a level 3 MP5. That would have been a different problem altogether. Wings wouldn't have even had the opportunity to jump around, let alone survive for a longer time. But Agent, finally, he has been caught off guard. SGU, well, they have all the 4 members back in action, and they are wanting more points. Rusher, he's away from the herd, finally getting the backup, and look at the way they're just working in tandem. Just know, our task is to get the eliminations, and that's what we're going to do. MX, you better be aware they weren't Gaheem! Well. Little did he know, little birdie came in and told MX that one player is rushing on your throat, and that's where he just got isolated.
SGU, they have a chance on qualifying for the group stages, Azora, and that is why you don't see any follow-up players chasing or rather countering against MX, because MX also have a chance. They also require big number of eliminations, more than what SGU does, and if SGU survives, they won't have any chance, and so is Nightmare, because all these three teams are fighting for the similar cause.
Oh, yeah.
Learn from past. Right now, they have 2 elimination points, picking up players from PVS. PVS? I mean, solo survivors. I mean, not solo survivors, but the players are scattered right now, and they can do it. They can do whatever they want, because this is a large game, and they have 100+ points. They are not scared at all, Ozora.
Absolutely. And that's the confidence you need, right? From the word go itself. PVS, they reached here not because they played their first 2 games wobbly. They played first 2 games pretty consistent, and from there on, they just kept the pace. They kept matching it again and again, irrespective of a bad game. They just kept their heads high, and they were pretty confident, and they were proud of them as well. So that's the way you have to go further in, even towards the group stages. This is just the play-ins that we're talking about right about now. Somi, well, I can see retired
Utah
pros. Oh, well, Utah right in front, and they're going to be taking yet another frag. As the elimination secured, Utah confirmed as Blood. He was in the collateral, but Blood was like, you know what, my teammate is going to help me.
Shanks, he's close, or he's just passing by. If he wants, he can... Oh, he's out in the open, and this time around, retired close. Did he spot him? Somi, he should have been the one. I can probably think of the driver. He didn't see him because he was driving. But Wings, he's the one. He has good amount of eliminations, and PATTERNPLAYS, they're leading right now with 9 eliminations. How big of a score can they put up?
Oh,
right
struggle. What?
They're fighting it out against ROFANI, the top 2 teams. No, not the top 2 teams, but the top 2 teams who are there in the lobby, who can qualify, and Sallu immediately decides to run away. But where is he going? He's going towards NMR. Yup, it's a very wrong spot. Exactly, Ozora.
And I believe that ROFANI, irrespective of what's going to happen next, they better be prepared for a heartbreak. They just have 1 elimination. And regardless of all of that, this is running away for their dear life. They have no standings whatsoever. And there is TV Tower, where we can see a lot of TRP coming in. And well, Sintonia, they're close by the vending machine, contesting it and taking down those players who planned about bringing the fallen comrades. But unfortunately, PATTERNPLAYS, they could not see this pattern through, as the players are just pouring down and taking them one by one out of this game. Namu, he's trying his level best, and open hand, and look at the way he retaliates. Oh my god.
Insidious, Immortal, he was alone there, but wait, Namu was holding onto that vending machine, and he immediately brings back tracks. Namu, he has to run away. He has a vehicle. He picks up the pickup van and he runs away from that spot. Trax has already been called on.
Oh no!
The direction he's driving towards, there's Hitman waiting. PATTERNPLAYS, they should eye on to the 12th elimination point. But wait, Namu, he understood that there are teams who are surrounded right now, and he has a different assignment. NAAZ, they're fighting against PVS. An agent, this time around he doesn't have a nade, and he gets spotted immediately by PVS, and retired pros. In the meanwhile, they get eliminated. Ozora, they're not safe yet. I have to mention that they were towards the 5th spot. What happens is in the hands of SGU, NMR, and MX, because they can surprise you for sure.
Oh, well, there's one thing that I would like to say. The producers have done us nasty here. They've only showcased the eliminations of this following game, and they've kept the entire mystery of which team is having how many points to themselves. I see what you guys have done there.
Do not want to reveal it for sure. But SGU, this Sakir is spotted Rusher. He puts in the grenade, but immediately falls back. NMR and SGU, they're both contesting for the similar spot. TRANQUILITY, they're getting sandwiched right now. Sakir, it's a 1v3 for him, or a 1v4 rather. He caused a little headache, a smaller one, which they immediately put in a cross-in and got that solution, right, Ozora? And have 9 eliminations right now. You look at the leaderboard, right? 13 eliminations for Insidious, 11 for PP, and 9 for SGU. These are all the teams who required it from game 1, and they're doing it in the last game.
I just need another column there. side-by-side comparison of how many points they've already earned. Oh boy, my day will be already sorted, but there's another thing that needs to be sorted is SGU taking a fight against PVS, one of the most lethal and confident team right in front, and SGU without any trouble, they want to take this fight. Oh no, close quarter battle, and champ, you better be ready for this. As PVS, they were, but they're getting annihilated. As back-to-back those shots are connecting in from the M590, jumping around, twirling. SGU getting 11 total eliminations, and there's TRANQUILITY from afar being completely neutralized. And I believe PVS has been taken down as well. Where are the last few members? Are they even alive? Oh yes, he is. And he brings back the entire team. Oh my god, look at the way the tables are turning.
Conscious insurance policy, right, Ozora? We have seen it multiple times by teams that while they converge into a fight, there's one man who's separate and only 3 players who are committing into that fight. That was the case there. But SGU with these 12 eliminations, I'm sure Struggle fans and our retired pros fans would be breathing heavily. They should do it. They should calculate every inch because Nightmare are still surviving, and so is SGU. Nobody is in the mood to leave anyone out of the game. They want those eliminations badly, and they are circling around Insidious. Insidious, the position is spotted, and Shreyash, he has to run away, and he gets picked off.
The
This is not the right outcome which they would have wanted from Insidious.
The glue wall timing, a big hindrance there. And Shreyansh, regardless of how well he's performing there, he's just gonna be taken again and again out of the picture. Oh, wait. Another battle coming in, and PATTERNPLAYS, they're swatting around, trying to make some space, and the sights are being pulled out. Okay, the confidence level is definitely on top for PATTERNPLAYS, as this is a redemption for them, fighting for the second time. Nabu has been taken away. He was planning of at least reviving a player or two, but unfortunately, he did not get the opportunity to do that. And PATTERNPLAYS, they've contested TV Tower so well. 15 eliminations. Oh my goodness. Big games coming in from these lads. And they're proving a point that regardless of this is the last game, they would still love to perform and showcase that they can still get good amount of eliminations.
Yeah, they always had the potential, Ozora. No one doubted that, but it's too late for sure. It's too late for PATTERNPLAYS to rise up, but look at Honey. He knows that Champ has already climbed up rather, and he removes himself from that fight because PVS has come in, and that would have been a sandwich situation. And Champ, is he the last survivor? No, he's not. SGU, they survived. They have 16. And look at Insidious and PATTERNPLAYS. They have the higher number, 19 and 16. Such a high fragging game for all these teams out there. But PVS, they're struggling right now, and MX are clutching in.
Presence of mind.
And fights back with that Macton, and Yogesh comes in for the help as well. But NMR in the meanwhile, they get eliminated as well. The 5th and the 6th position team, before we started the 6th game, they're out of the picture.
This is so bothersome. This is so nerve-wracking. There's yet another player on the backlines. Dead player. He finally launches himself and he's safe with the entire team. That's a really good call. But Honey, how well can he survive? 3 nades in his pocket. That's really good. He can even use the Graffiti's blessing because he has it towards the active line. Oh, but that shot is equally good. HP low and is healing. He thinks he can heal all the way along as 3 members. They're rushing down the throat and makes things even worse for them. Yet another team eliminated.
SGU are fighting Ozora, and SGU, they get eliminated as well. They were one of the contenders. Oh no. Learn from past.
Okay.
PVS, they push on to them, and there are 3
One
members
nade.
handling 1 nade for sure. But wait, they put in a double-decker glue wall, and the nades do not have that space to go in. And look at Fayaz. He has come into this fight. This is going to be a third party where probably Insidious wants more of it. Insidious, they're eyeing on for a booyah, but they need those bigger number of elimination. This situation can go in anyone's favor for now. Karthik goes down, and look at NAAZ. Benz is also waiting and spectating into this situation. And PVS, they've smartly removed themselves away from that area.
Oh, but in the meanwhile, Khonshu, he was calling in a rotation. Unfortunately, he has been taken down. LFP, learn from past. Well, that 1 nade did not show up at all because all thanks to that double decker of a glue wall just punching through each and every nade that can even be lobbed right at them. But Benz, he's repositioning himself very well. He's getting this piece of the circle, but I believe this repositioning is going to hinder a lot. There's a tree to help him survive for now. Again, the stealth bite is going to go away, and from there on, it's going to be Problems Paradise. PVS in the meanwhile, couple of players just dropped down and they're dropped dead. Learn from past did not learn anything from this fight as they have been completely annihilated. PVS, they're going on for yet another rampant approach, and Benz is right in front. He's trying to take it slow. He doesn't have his ability to reach out just yet, and those M590 shots, they're going to buzz right into his skull, and he's been perished. Yet another team engulfed by PVS.
Top three teams, Pattern Plays, PVS and Insidious. Insidious are barely surviving. They don't have the numbers game going into this fight. Pattern Plays are firing it. Hitman, he gets one knock, but the elimination stolen by Krish there. Fires out in the open. His pick also goes on to Anshu. Pattern Plays fighting against PVS. Pattern Plays, even if they get this booyah, will their dream still be alive is the question. The answers for me is still no. Yogesh fighting it out. He runs away, but Ekansh and Zarvis are still into this fight. PVS inside that chrono shield for now, but this looks like an advantage for PP, which is Pattern Plays. Look at Anshu's positioning. He has the higher ground, but step onto Zarvis. But wait, Ekansh and Zarvis takes down the players for PVS. The last man is Krish. He gets taken down by Hitman, and Pattern Plays in the very last game have risen, have converted this game into a booyah. But is the dream alive? Is the question still active right now, Azora?
Pattern Plays getting that booyah, booyah, booyah. Total 23 elimination points on their name. Oh my, this is a huge game for them. 35-pointer. Well, at the very end, they have at least proved one thing, that they can be the annihilator in this entire lobby. PVS, but no shade thrown away. This team, oh boy.
Wow, what a game, what a last circle, Ozora. Pattern Plays, they decide to decimate or dominate or take those fights onto each and every single team in the lobby. But I still feel it's too late, but we can still have a look at what they had in their kitty. Of course, Ekansh Ginotra, we know he is the bomber of the team. He had that Cassie so that he can support his teammate.
Oh, yes.
And he had Beastin and Alaver as well. So Stiva was also equipped. So we can see that he was also being that guy who was helping his teammates survive in those long-range battles and in the close-range battles as well. But Hitman, the guy who created that difference, right, with that Kar 98, he had Morse equipped. For sure, those flanks were not seen coming in. He also had Moko and Maro. So for, I think, bounty being placed as well, and the information game very strong for Hitman. But everything came in so late that even if I want to say so much about this team, but my heart is in sorrow while looking at what they have done in the previous 5 matches, right?
Oh yeah. It's always going to be problematic, but PBS Gaming, my goodness. They've been running around rampant, shutting down so many teams. If they hadn't done that, I believe Pattern Plays still had the opportunity to qualify, but unfortunately getting a 50-pointer of a game in a single one, I believe is not at all advised. So yeah, 35 of a pointer. What a lovely game coming from Pattern Plays. Insidious as well, 28 total points. PVS Gaming with 25, 16 eliminations on their name. But Insidious, they themselves up the ante, getting 20 eliminations on their name. SGU, for sure they have made their way. I have a very strong feeling. 22 total points on their name. MX Esports, they did fight valiantly, getting 21 total points. NAAZ Esports, they were here and there, to and fro, taking that slippery slope just to see what's happening towards those teams. SGU sitting on top. So I don't know what's happened there, but they could have converted more points in just 7 eliminations at the end.
I mean, I'm still scared for Nightmare, Ozora. Nightmare and Retired Pros, they were at the bottom 2 spots who could have made it to the final 6, but we still don't know what has happened. Nightmare got eliminated so early, Retired Pros got eliminated so early, did not have the points, right? And we see the top 5 teams. It was Pattern Plays, PVS, Insidious, NAAZ and MX, right? if you leave out PVS, because they were at the top, they did not have the problem because they knew that they had a free hand and they were dominating, they were being consistent, and that's why they were revolving around, they were going in for those fights, they were finding teams, and they were able to, convert those elimination points as well. And that's how I think they found out the last member from NAAZ, which was Benz, which you will see there. Yeah, that's where Khonshu and the rest of the members, were spotted him and got him eliminated, and then they had to fight it against INSIDIOUS and PATTERNPLAYS, and PATTERNPLAYS was ready for this game.
They were, absolutely they were. NAAZ, well, there was only one team who did not take a fight in the second spot. That was NAAZ. But overall, let's just see how the standings are going to look like. Which team is it going to be that's going to face a very heartbreaking defeat? Oh boy, nightmare. PATTERNPLAYS, MX Esports, INSIDIOUS Esports. Well, my hearts go to them.
But congratulations to PVS, ROFANI, LEARNFROMPAST, NAAZ Esports, Retired Pros, and SGU Esports in the last game. Those important eliminations came in very, very handy, Ozora. Even if they have dethroned the Nightmare, who were at the 6th spot before we saw the this overall standing, after the 5th game was done for. But we knew it, that SGU, while they were giving in their best and getting those elimination points, cranking up the numbers, they had it for it, and they got that 6th spot. Now they can dream in that group stages. They can dream that TEZ FFMIC 2026 fall is wide open for them.
Oh, the group stages, it's going to be even more problematic, but they've already accomplished a very small hurdle. Be happy about it, be proud about it, but learn from all of these mistakes. Watch where you have gone wrong. But I just love the way PVS Gaming has performed all through. And let's just see which is that top performing team for today, because I just have a very strong gut feeling with 146 points. It has to be them, right? It has to be.
Obviously. I mean, with 146 points, 1 booyah, with 100 eliminations, PVS Gaming have got in the top performers for today. And right now, I mean, they have matched on with Team Elite and also with Klutza, right? Because they were the top performers in their respective days, right, Ozora? We saw how Klutza performed. They were also a team who came in from the city qualifiers. This is also a team who came in from the city qualifiers. They qualified from Hyderabad. They should be very, very proud. And right now, we are looking at the elimination leaderboard, and I see PVS all the way along. The first 3 boys are from that team, and this man Krish is a new addition to this team, and he has 32 elimination. PVS Anna somehow finds the best of the boys, and he brings in those talents, and he gives them that freedom, and they come in and do this.
Hidden gems is what I can say. But not gonna lie about the performances coming in from Claws and Blood. Both of them, they have played so well. 20 eliminations from Claws, 23 eliminations from Blood. And I believe Blood's name is very right? He just smells blood, he reaches there, he gets those eliminations, and he gives the team the kind of confidence, the open room to do whatever they want to do. And these are the teams who are going to qualify, who have already qualified, and they're going to head towards the group stages in order to showcase how well they can perform and how many points they can bring in.
I can already see so many fresh faces, right? All the boys from ROFANI, the boys from LEARNFROMPAST, Retired Pros. Obviously they had some familiar faces. Struggle, it is the redemption arc for him, and so is for Somi. These 2 boys have already played in big names. They have been a part of LAN. We know what Struggle can do, and now again he has given himself that opportunity. He built his own team, and with Retired Pros, his dream is alive as well.
Oh, it is. And the dream for most of them, we even saw a Rise Esports having the same roster, just few changes, still not able to qualify. And well, Retired Pros, they have made it possible. But well, the wait is over. We finally have the invited teams as well. Team Apex Gaming, SATUL Esports, IQ Total Gaming, Revenant X-Spark, Godlike Esports, and RNX Esports. It is going to be amazing, as these top 3 teams have already represented India in a foreign soil. EWC 26 is where we saw them. The performance was top notch. But in this group stage, what will happen? Will they budge down right in front of the underdogs, or they're just going to showcase their A game and keep winning each and every time?
The big boys are back in the lobby, Ozora.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
look at, as you mentioned, the top 3 teams, they have recently represented India. They have dominated in the world circle as well. Now they have the opportunity to come back where it all started. TEZ FFMIC 2026 Spring, where Apex lifted the trophy. Back then they were called as Hind. They will be back. IQ Total Gaming, TEZ FFMIC 2025 champions. SA12 Elite, what a storyline from being Fire Eyes and to representing India on the EWC Grand Final stage. Revenant X Park, RNX, all the boys will be back. And the drama is just about to start.
It's just about to start, man, Otto. We were waiting for this. Many people were asking the same question. When will Team Apex play? When will IQ Total Gaming play? When will Revenant X Park play? This is the time. This is the opportunity. Go ahead. Practice your matches. Shoot your shots. And I'm hoping that they connect, because this time it is up against those teams who have already showcased what they can do in foreign soil. So it's extremely exciting even for the underdogs to perform here.
Yeah, absolutely. While we head towards the group stages, these boys will definitely get some time to prepare. So for sure, the preparation time would be good enough for them. We will be back from 6th of August. You guys were watching TEZ FFMIC 2026 Fall Plains. Do not forget to like and subscribe, because we will be back from the 6th of August.
Next one easy.